You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
I want to invoke the doctor and then write him a letter. I want to ask him a question, if he knew what was going on. The other day I was passing, I hear people complaining. He is the man with the answer, but he quite over yonder. They say, snake in the Palisade, snake in the Palisade.
This is Caribbean Vibes.
Snake in the Palisade, and they biting hard. Snake in the Palisade, I'm sorry for Trinidad. Big snakes in the country, man, they worse than rapidly. When they're making the racket, they just dress up in nice jacket. Some big fat mackerel drink out the oil in the oil well. I don't know how they found the key, but I hear they empty the treasury. Snake in the Palisade, snake in the Palisade, snake in the Palisade, and they biting hard. Snake in the Palisade, destroying Trinidad. Ah, yeah, yeah, now, man.
This is Caribbean Vibes.
I want to question the hunters who does hunt down the squatters. They just cut down your hammock. They don't care if you sleep on rock. While them snakes in the country only pulling their belly. I want to ask what causing that, but afraid they shoot off my hat. I'm telling you, snake in the Palisade, snake in the Palisade, snake in the Palisade, and they biting hard. Snake in the Palisade, I'm sorry for Trinidad. I hear in the rumor, the country in danger. Them snakes have no feelings, they just bite up anything. I hear they bite up the money and have the country in jeopardy. They bite up the pipeline, no water for the swine. I don't know what they would do next. They bite up a whole racing complex. Snake in the Palisade, snake in the Palisade.
This is Caribbean Vibes.
Snake in the Palisade, and they biting hard. Snake in the Palisade, I'm sorry for Trinidad. I'm there, I'm a hammer. Do I am, do I am, do I am.
It is rather strange, the waiting has changed. Long ago was so much better. You could ask my friend, pretender. Change is taking place at such rapid pace. Will you telling me, Duke, we going backward progressively? Long time a child passed to tell you good morning. Today a child passes cussing you hearing. The whole thing changed up. The whole thing changed up. True. Long time you say masses, Sally and Bailey. Today you say masses, Brazil and Axley.
The whole thing changed up. The whole thing changed up.
Long time any false child husband was mining. Today any false child the end mining.
The whole thing changed up.
I like.
The whole thing changed up.
Hey, hey. Rocket. Woo. I find you.
The whole thing changed up. The whole thing changed up.
Sing the chorus. Sing the chorus.
The whole thing changed up.
Look.
The whole thing changed up.
When I was a child, just a juvenile, I watching my mama washing. It's on a juking mode. She's scrubbing. No more than housewife. Have such easy life. When it's clothes so clean, jockey shorts and all in washing machine. Long time your teeth love if your wife is sleepy. Today your teeth love your sexual abuse.
The whole thing changed up. The whole thing changed up.
Long time your fence house with hibiscus flower. Today your fence house with steel and barbed wire.
The whole thing changed up. The whole thing changed up.
Look, long time ladies kiss, you say they just kissing. Today ladies kiss, I know why you're laughing.
The whole thing changed up.
Change up.
The whole thing changed
I like
up.
it. Sing it. Sing it. Sing it. Sing it. Sing it.
The whole thing changed
I can't hear you. I find the whole thing changed up. Rocket. I
The whole thing changed up.
true.
The whole thing changed up.
Uncle Gordon said, long time in he day, children had to have behavior or they getting belt like fire. Now new laws they draft, he just had to laugh. You can't touch your child, them is the adult, use the juvenile. That's why long time bandits was the old stagers. Today all the bandits is young teenagers.
The whole thing
Sing
changed
it.
up. The whole thing changed up.
True. Long time you want drugs, you're gone to the drugstore. Today you want drugs, the business right next
The
door.
whole thing changed up. The whole thing changed up.
Look, long time you say crime for police, you're calling. Today you say crime from police, you're running.
The whole thing changed up.
Oh
The
Lord,
whole thing changed up.
change up. Rocket,
The
huh?
whole thing changed up.
Change up.
The whole thing changed up.
Look, let's not be afraid. No, let's not be afraid.
The whole thing changed up.
Don't be afraid.
The whole thing changed up.
No, don't be afraid. Changes must be made. If we make the law the letter, changes will be for the better. But make no mistake, and change just for changing's sake. I say that because you're going to pray that thing come back the way it was. When them parents hide sex talk from the children, today the children does educate them.
The whole thing changed up.
Change
The whole thing changed up.
true. Long time you say aid is helping, you're helping. Today you say aid is dying, you're dying.
The whole thing changed up.
Oh,
The whole thing changed up.
long time politics was Williams and Robbie. Today politics is Dan Raj and
The
Gypsy.
whole thing changed up.
Change.
The whole thing changed up.
Long time you say smoke is Camel and Anchor. Today you say smoke, you mean
The
marijuana.
whole thing changed up. The whole thing changed up.
True. Long time you prove love by how much you spend. Today you prove love by money you spend it.
The whole thing changed up.
Oh God.
The whole thing changed up.
Long time marriage vows was called matrimony. Today wedding vows is called match your money.
The whole thing changed up. The whole thing changed up.
Oh, sing it, sing it, sing it. I love you. I love love you.
whole thing change up.
I love you.
The whole thing change up.
Change up.
Yes, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to WZYE 95.9 FM. You could have been anywhere else, but you chose to join us. And as you see, the whole thing change up here at WZYE temporarily. Anselm is MIA for some much needed relaxation. Hey, game massages and there. Don't say I say. Okay. Anyway, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Let me bring in my co-host for the evening, no other than Mr. Tommy Nesbitt. All right, I'm trying to bring you in, Tommy, here. Edit. Oh, y'all bear with me, huh? I'm learning this thing. Trying to find where to bring Tommy in, but it's not letting me. So let's see how we're gonna do this. Add Tommy to the stream. Yeah, that's right. I found it. I found you. I'm clicking add Tommy. Why are you not coming in?
One click. One click.
There
That's
we go.
enough.
Can you hear me,
Well,
Tommy?
yes, indeed. Thank you for bringing me in, Diana. And I hope all is well.
My computer's acting like a grandfather. So yeah,
but
all is good. All is good. Little issues here and there, but the storm will prevail.
Temporarily, of course.
The storm will prevail. And as usual, let's go to see who we have in the chat, who made it in the village first. I bet you bottom dollars. I bet you bottom. Why you tell me that? I was gonna say it's a woman.
Takisha is 1 through 7 is Takisha.
1 through 7 is Takisha. Okay, I'm not able to see that. Let's see.
That's the Keisha, I call her.
All right, Takisha. Yes, Takisha.
Followed by Lana.
Takisha represent. Lana representing. Yeah, Takisha again. Lana. And there goes the village sweetheart. Nadia,
thank you. Thank you for those 15 golden hearts you gave me today. Makes me feel very good.
And wait now, am I seeing here a man over 50 making or beat Ulrich and them in the chat?
Absolutely. Albert was no slouch today at all.
Albert over 50, what's your name? Ulrich, you let a 50-year-old man beat you in a race? Huh?
Diana, see, you got 12. You got 12 red hearts. Is that 12 red hearts you got? No, 12. Yeah.
I got 12 red hearts.
12. What color is your heart?
That's purple.
Yeah, 12 red hearts you got. And still got 10 blue hearts. From Nadia.
I see. Okay.
Nadia is truly the village sweetheart.
Okay, and now you got yellow. Tommy got yellow. I guess you're trying to make your
that's gold. That's gold. That's gold, Storm.
She's selling you out. She's telling everybody you're a UNC boy.
No, she's saying that I have a heart of gold. That's what she's saying.
And why she gave me red hearts? Hello, Nadia. Why you giving me red hearts? You trying to tell somebody something here?
Oh,
good night, Albert. Albert. Good night. How are you?
Good night, Albert.
We have Nessie Lyons here.
Yeah, who is she? She knew she wasn't a family with the other Montano. With Gerard.
all them Montanos related, girl. Nessie, absolutely. Welcome to the village. I've never seen you here before. Let's give Nessie the usual village welcome.
Happy welcome. Give her a warm welcome to the village, Nessie.
And there's Rennie, the one that want the cat suit and the whip. I guess he's still waiting on it. Hi, Lee. Ogado.
The village.
Green banana, Takisha, Nadia. Hi, Lee. What's going on? Peppy fella. Good night, Judy. Thank you for joining us. Judy, what is them Wait, what's them little thing after the hearts, Judy? I can't see too good, Them thing looking kind of like something else, Judy.
Let me see what is that. Judy, Judy.
Special greetings to Lady Diane. Hey, she dead, Judy. Takesha, Lana, Joan. Who else is here?
Ulrich.
Yeah. Since Ulrich have all these business enterprises, he comes in late. So, hey, Troy, you get your laptop early tonight, boy. How long you have it till? You have it for an hour? You want me beg me see for 2 hours for you? Miss Kizzy, could you let Troy Smith handle the laptop for the rest of the night? I'm begging for you, Ulrich. I'm begging for you, Troy.
Lana.
Okay, and so thus far, and to others listening, other platforms and other mediums, we welcome you to the village. So, Tommy, things
Yes,
changing
indeed.
up. What's going on in Trinidad, boy?
We have a special guest going to be coming in on the half hour to talk about some of the issues that we are facing.
Good.
But it's just so much going on. It makes me wonder what's next.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, I understand. And let me go to my notes here and a little quote. Those are the storms here. I only repeated, Okay. I understand that there's internal rumblings. Huh?
Look like the house built out of that same thing like the one in Tobago that collapsed.
There's internal rumblings. What are they grumbling about? What's going on?
What happened in Tobago is symbolic as to what's going on in the PNM.
Yeah.
Yeah, that house in Mason Hall collapsed because it was built poorly. Thank God nobody got hurt.
Well, not necessarily built poorly, but you may have, the columns that are supposed to hold up the house, though the columns are shaky.
Well, I understand it was built with plywood or something like that.
Which house you talking about? The one that collapsed in Tobago?
Mason Hall.
Okay, all right, good, all right.
5, they had to relocate them.
But I'm talking about the Red House, the rumblings.
Oh, I know. I'm just making a comparison to kind of give it a little bit of flavor, because we can talk about it, but we can also say that what happened in Mason Hall is symbolic as to what's going on with those red people.
But you know what? If it is so, I'm only reading fact or fiction, chaos in the persecuted national movement, that somebody has been kicked out like a oh my, maybe they're going to try to make him the scapegoat as a form of distraction for us. What do you think?
Anything is possible. Any and everything is possible. But when our guest come, he'll tell us, because I'm sure that all hasn't been well, and it's been like that for probably quite a long time.
Yep, and that is why. And again, it goes back to leadership, like we've always been talking, right? Leadership versus leadership. And this is with the but also in other news, you mentioned about this house collapsing. I don't have anything on it here. I like how the THA was proactive. Went and surveyed it and reported to the news media. There were pictures, and people knew what was going on. Why can't the same thing happen in Trinidad?
Well, let's hope that what is going on in Tobago will spur a change, or should I say, it would generate a spirit of transformation. That's the word.
I don't know. I see here a continued, what should I call it? Trend of crime, continued trend of crime, where a young man went to rob this businesswoman and she handled her scenes. She handled her
Yeah,
business.
yeah. Well, that is what's supposed to happen. You know,
Yep.
once you do the right thing, giving business people firearm users license.
Hmm. Yep. And
You know,
I don't care what race he was. You went to rob the woman. You had no right. You're trespassing. You was intent on doing her bodily harm. You're in the woman place. She didn't
so,
invite you in there. You
no, guess
know,
what? He and her were the same race, human race.
human race. Talk it, talk. You know, people when they want to go and they want to draw the disparity. You know that. You know. So he's a human race. I don't know his nationality. We don't know that. But he had no
It doesn't
business in the
matter.
woman place. Hmm?
It doesn't matter what his background is. He has no
Nope.
business doing the wrong thing because the wrong thing is the wrong thing. There's no right way
Yeah.
to do a wrong thing.
What you doing in the woman place? Yeah, she has a right to defend herself. And then
Absolutely.
I see here that this young boy was murdered and thrown in a latrine. But, Tommy,
That's I mean, when you really think about it, it's gross. Could you imagine that a 16-year-old in the prime of his life, hasn't even lived
I
yet.
I don't know what's going. I don't know. It frightens me. I don't know what's going on. You know. And on the international front, we see here that the woman murder she wrote, she ain't writing it no more. She passed. Angela Lansbury.
Right.
Yeah. May she rest in peace.
God rest
Mm.
his soul.
And I see here, continued in the local news, what else we want to bring to the forefront? What else you want to bring to the forefront, Tommy? They said a $5 million fence is supposed to be built around Golden Grove Prison.
Well, they already started up quite a elaborate fence. If you
Mm,
drive along the Church of Roosevelt Highway, you would see that that must be maybe 12 to 20 foot high
yeah.
fence out there.
But Tommy,
That's a double
I,
fence.
I hear you. I hear you. But when we saw, remember previously we saw videos of the cramped and not too well. You're not supposed to be comfortable in prison, but then you're supposed to have some sort of human right. But the way the prisoners are housed, you would think it'd be better to, you know what I mean, invest that in inside there and bring I don't know, bring program. What you putting up another fence for? It is a psychological thing now.
I
What
don't
is it?
know. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. Some solutions just seem out there, way out there. What we
Five
have to
million, 5 million, but you have the schools. Anyway, five million
actually
on a fence. Now I'm
guess
trying to
what?
make, huh?
Guess what I'm thinking. Another scheme for money to pass, money to pass. Because you know, believe it or not, well, I think it's more credible to us as Trinidadians that everything is a bubble. Everything is bubble. It's a way for somebody to steal and eat a food.
Yeah, but you have the schools in a dilapidated state. But you're going and build a fence around the prison. I
Yeah,
I
because
thi- I
because
I think
because it's more important for them to 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 incarcerate than educate.
that's right. That's right.
They took a
And
page out of, of, of the US's book because we know that in the US incarceration is record numbers, especially minorities for petty crimes too. Most times,
well, I heard Joe Biden throw it on the table to sort of commute the sentences of individuals who were incarcerated. I heard on The View who were incarcerated for crimes marijuana.
Yeah, I
Because
heard that too. I heard
yeah,
that too.
because
And the Republicans are pushing back. They think that something's wrong with what Joe is saying. But the truth be told, these are nonviolent crimes. And today, they have, in most states, or many states, they have
marijuana for
normalized those.
sale. Normalize marijuana
Exactly.
selling. Yep, see it, but you gotta go through. Yeah, yep. So I don't see, commute the sentences and let them come out. I mean, but you
Yeah,
know what it is. You know what it is.
because
It's mostly this color here. Well, keep them in there.
yeah, and not to say that people of the other ethnic persuasion aren't
Are
as
not in
guilty,
there. Mm-hmm.
or they're not as guilty of use, or they weren't as guilty of use at the time when it was a
Mm-hmm.
big offense or a great offense, but they
Mm-hmm.
never got prosecuted the way we, or people of my persuasion did.
Mm-hmm. And
So
I think yeah, because you've gone away for marijuana all this time, because remember you used to get picked up just for possessing it, huh?
yeah,
Now they're
but
selling that. You can go buy it in states.
people did big time for a joint of marijuana, for a small amount of marijuana. People got big time. You
Mm-hmm.
know, depends on
Mm-hmm.
who's the
I,
judge and what kind of day he's having.
I think they should do it in the states that have okayed to sell marijuana. They should start with those states first, releasing the people from the state penitentiary, or if your crime occurred in that state, release you.
No, but I think from the top is the best way. The president lay down and throughout the entire country, just because it's only going to be a matter of time before the entire country normalize marijuana.
Mhm. All right, so we go back to the local news, as reported by the Trinidad and Tobago Express. Oh Lord, here we go again. Someone stole the floodgate.
Hmm.
Catherine Boudou Dorega, acting director of drainage, speaks to the media after a site visit in Sealots where a flap gate was reported stolen from the Abattoir Road watercourse. The gate is valued at $200,000 and it prevents water from the St. Anne's River when there's flooding from backing up onto the Beetham Highway, the Central Market and the Central Market at Sept. Here you see Rohan Sinanan. Well, that's what he looks like. I never seen him before.
Hmm.
So the thief the gate, Tommy.
Yeah,
Eh,
well, anything is possible. Anything is possible.
So you think it's crap iron people thief it?
Talking about scrap iron, I see Paula Gopiskun talking about an improvement is going to be made to the scrap iron business coming forward.
They
So
need
we'll
to
see.
hurry up and do it. And I concur with David Muhammad. Yeah, they need to put a ban. We said that, put a ban on all them things coming in the country.
Mm.
6 months ban, yeah. All them guns and yeah, that's what you need to put the ban on. Not hard working people trying to get to make a dollar to support their families. Yeah.
Yep.
And I
Keep,
see here,
keep an eye out and see if our guest is in the background from time to time.
I'm not see he would pop up, but I'm not seeing anything here. So once he comes, he would
Mhm.
populate here, and then I would bring him in. I'm not seeing him there. Yeah,
Mhm.
I see here where Heinz called what's his name, something or the other, name calling.
Can you play some of those videos that we have in our chat?
I'm going to which video? I don't think Anselm put any.
No, in the three, in our three, the three
I don't know
some,
how to. I'm not sure I know how to upload them. I
because
have
there's
to
one in
upload them here.
particular I would love you to play, is the one where the gentleman is telling the Prime Minister 7 steps, a 7-point statement he was making as to what good economics is. Not.
Okay.
not
Well, I don't think it's loaded in here. It has to be loaded in the lineup, and it's not. I'm
as
doing it
opposed to
from my computer. Yeah.
as opposed to the copy of Reaganomics supposedly that he tried to foster on the public.
But what you anyway? I hope Andy comes in. Anyway, you could contact him. I think I'm friends with him. Let me see if I could call him here. 1 minute. Yeah. I'm gonna mute myself a minute. You can continue talking now, Tommy.
Yeah. Well, we see they've made their choices as to who is gonna be running for this internal election in the People's National Movement. We have three persons going on contested, and that's Regis, Cummins, and Alwari. Other than that, it looks like it's going to be a dogfight. In many of the other races, we'll see what happens. I think that is creating a lot of dissension.
You did send him the link, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I just left a voice clip for him to see. Maybe he's busy doing stuff. Yeah. So but it was I expected some rumblings, because you know what it is. Here you have someone. She is within the party. You know, I'm not I'm too au fait with your politics in Trinidad. All I know is a polarized, divisive place. But here you have someone who belongs to the party, but she doesn't have a sitting position, and she comes and she challenges him for leadership. And when I was pushing and saying why you can't challenge him, all those things were in the back of my head. Ain't there nobody there that can stand up to him?
Nobody on the inside would, because it would jeopardize their
position. Should not. It should not.
Well, that's just the way it is.
Because then you
change.
Yeah, it should not. You know, and that's what they do in England, right? Look, Boris going on about the business.
Hey,
Boris going on, but I ain't. Wait, but ain't the system in Trinidad? Let me go back here. You send me. Ain't the system in Trinidad and Tobago mirrored or crafted after the British system? So why is it, you know, you can't challenge internally and let anything go on, especially the populace is calling for it, right? And a lot of them themselves aren't happy. You should be able to do it and let them move right along. But you know, you're teetering on dictatorship. You're acting like a dictator. That's what it is.
Exactly, because the constitution in Trinidad is not the same constitution as in the UK.
I ain't saying it's the same, but yeah, things are drafted or laws and stuff. I mean, I'm confused. I'm confused. You know, Diana, it is legal for you to import 4 seeds, and if yes, can you send 4 hybrid?
Let me see that. I'm going to chat.
Troy Smith tells me it is legal for you to import 4 seeds, and but Troy, when I come in through Piaco, the dog gonna sniff me, and they may search it. I don't know where to hide them 4 seeds, Troy.
See what Albert says, that floodgate should not cost more than $50,000. And the Ministry of Works supposed to install the floodgates with all the equipment the ministry has.
So is there any identifying number? I guess they could file it off or paint it over. I mean, but I mean the flood
easy to identify if it comes up, even damaged or
ain't that a big thing to carry? and they had to make a lot of noise to carry that along, right? That is something that you can easily walk off with, right? Can you, Albert?
I don't think it's something that you can put in your pocket. So that's why I find it very strange that nobody is able to be prosecuted or arrested or whatever for that.
So you had to have a truck, a big truck, right?
You have to have the equipment to take that away. Because I
And
mean,
and,
it's, like I
and
said,
is it and is it and where is it located? Is it located in a bush somewhere away from the public's eye? Where is it? Does it have do they have security? What
you see what Albert says? Diana Trinidad is a dictatorship under the guise of democracy. It's truly a hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy. It's not democracy.
Yeah, hypocrisy. That's right.
Something that caught my eye in one of the chats during this week is the plight of one Anthony Lang.
Okay.
Anthony Lang made a lot of money in the energy sector because he's a specialist, and he done well for himself. However, what usually happens when you have a certain complexion and nationality, or should I say background, not nationality, everybody's Trinidad nationals, of a certain
ethnicity,
that's the word. It's assumed that anytime you have worth or you have money or you have resources, that you've done something nefarious to obtain it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can attest to the fact that I've been accused of nefarious behavior when it never was so.
In Trinidad, right?
Yeah, because when you a certain ethnic of a certain ethnic persuasion, you're not supposed to have anything or be of value.
I agree with you, Tommy. I'll tell you that because they questioned me, how I changed 70,000 TT dollars in the past 10 years of traveling to Trinidad and Tobago. I changed at the airport, so obviously, my record is there. And they want to know, what is I doing and how come, and now I said, but the hell.
Albert was saying that if
do it,
400 pounds and round.
The what?
Albert was given a description.
It's how many pounds?
400 pounds, heavy, and it's round.
That sounds like a whole lot of people were in. So let me ask you something. What you gonna do with a floodgate when you steal it?
Well, if you are gonna recycle, I guess you're gonna have to cut it up.
Okay. Are you gonna install it at your place? What does floodgate look like? That's the one that they just drop down in front of the stores here when they're closing the stores at night.
No. In front of the stores is roll-up security gates.
Okay, so what does floodgate look like?
That's something that goes in the waterway that allows the water to move in one direction. If it starts backing up, it pushes and closes the gate. So it's like a one-way trap gate for the water.
All right. So who would benefit other than scrap iron people? Who would benefit from pilfering that floodgate?
I can't think of anyone else but people who are involved. But people who are involved in the metal recycling business.
But I mean,
they tend to take that and make something else with it. But
like Judy said, someone in the government stole that floodgate. Oh, Alana, Albert, they go blame the scrap iron people for the floodgate. Let me see what Albert here. Let me put Albert. Albert says what? Albert says That floodgate is a very heavy piece of iron, which could be about 400 pounds and wrong.
Lana, Lana suggests that it could have fallen apart because of poor maintenance.
Lana, you're wicked. You're wicked. Suppose
I
we
don't know.
have that gate iron in Trinidad. If the floodgate was stolen, it heavy. How was it moved? Precisely, I said that, Lana. How you moving it? And it's 6 feet high, Albert said.
That's what I saw. He says here. That
Wow.
something is fishy with that whole thing.
Yeah.
Something that it doesn't add up. Because I mean, something of that magnitude, you like I said, you can't put that in your pocket. You can't put it in your car trunk.
And where was stolen from? The beef farm?
Yeah.
Things
That
were stolen.
it should be easy to locate that. Easy.
Yeah.
Something of that magnitude.
I see here something where Anselm says Prestige Holdings enjoys a profitable first 9 months of 2022. Who's Prestige Holdings, Tommy?
I'm
Who
not
they own? Who they own? Albert Prestige Holdings. Who the principals in that? And some of the companies that fall under their umbrella.
You know they're gonna be the 1%ers, some of the large companies. I couldn't tell you exactly.
I'm Googling it as we speak. Principles of Prestige Holdings in Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah, boy. Okay. PHL. That's Prestige Holdings.
Albert says that this is installed by the Ministry of Works and supervised by the same ministry. He's talking about that floodgate.
The floodgate?
He said it was installed by the Ministry of Works and supervised by them.
The Ministry of Works. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then we could add 2 and 2 together and get 6. I'm trying to find this Prestige.
Meanwhile, keep an eye out for our guests.
I'm looking. He's still not there. Send him a message and ask him where he is. I tried to send him a message. I'm not seeing him. He would show up. He's not there.
I'll have to come off the show to send him a message.
All right, go ahead. I'll add you back. Yeah. Anybody? Albert, you know who Prestige Holdings is? You can leave. I'll add you back. Neil and Massey. Okay. Neil and Massey. So we see who running things in Trinidad and Tobago. Eh? Neil and Massey. Okay. And I saw something the other day where I think they got a tender to supply backhoe, right? Neil and Massey. Yeah. We know where all the money going, huh? Neil and Massey. While we wait here for Tommy's return and Mr. Andy Johnson to join us. Neil and Massey is now. This is installed by the Ministry of Works. Yeah, Lana, the transformer moved the floodgate in the night like a helicopter. Who's the transformer? Neil and Massey. And they're enjoying and also doesn't what you call it, the Massey stores fall under them too, Albert, the supermarkets? Are they going to take some of their earnings and pass it back, like what Ansem calls it, corporate responsibility, corporate social responsibility, and pass it back to the consumers in the form of book grants and repairing the schools and within the area, wherever it's located, pick 5 or 6 of the most needy and desirable schools with the profit reported. Are they gonna find? Are they gonna do that, or no? Are we gonna start? Are you gonna still keep pumping your money in them, and they're not pumping any money back at us? Hmm? In the meantime, while we wait for you had a what? I heard Marcy is part of Petrochin. Well, we could find that out. We'll have to Google it, Anselm Google that and find out. I don't like to go with hearsay. So what's the weather like in Trinidad and Tobago today? Someone put it in the chat. How is it? Anybody see any on the roads that were destroyed or further destroyed? Any new potholes for Sinanan to fix? While we wait on Tommy and Mr. Johnson to come back. Okay, somebody's device is not connected. Somebody's trying to get back in. One moment. Okay, Tommy, you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Tommy, okay, what did he say?
Oh, he's on his way home. He didn't make it home yet.
Oh, that's right. Okay, cool. Just wanted to know how to operate. All right. Somebody said that. Huh?
As soon as he gets in, he'll jump on. He says.
Okay. Somebody says Marcy is part of Petrotrin. You heard that?
Marcy's part of Petrotrin.
No, is that true, Albert?
No.
Marcy owned all what used to be Hilo and Cannings. Ooh, okay.
Okay, this is true.
Lana says it's rainy and cold in Trinidad and Tobago. Takesha says rain with potholes. Everybody in your neck of the woods, wherever you are, what's the road system like? What is the, just say a general area and what's going on in your area. The drains are still overflowing. The rain, with the rain falling, what's going on? And we have more systems coming up. Did he give a time, approximate time as to when he'll be in?
No, but as soon as he gets home, he's on his way home.
Mm-hmm.
When he gets in, he'll come on.
Albert says, Diana, the big companies know before the budget what contracts they get. Really? Huh?
Just put my
So you see what's going on, huh? TrackMac is Massey too. Wow, what's TrackMac?
Tractor parts, tractors, and heavy equipment.
Tunapuna rainy but not heavy. Can't you control the amount of bids? What happened? Smaller people don't have a chance to get these kind of. What is it, Tommy? Or they just don't have the desire to be in business. Roads very bad, plenty potholes in Pfizer. But Mr. Sinanan, the roads need fixing. Go ahead, Tommy.
Well, we keep talking about empowerment of the people. The way the thing is set up and the way the system is corrupted, it's next to impossible for small men to get in and pull themselves up by their bootstrap, as they seem to imply from time to time. They're not really trying to help develop who's at the bottom of the ladder. It's impossible to really do what we can do here in the United States. You see, the opportunities aren't as really forthcoming as we'd like it to be in Trinidad. Some of us try, but it's just it's just beating your head up against a wall more time than often because your own fight you down the most. Much more those on the other end of the spectrum.
Do you,
It's
with Karen throwing her, I hope she don't mind me calling her Karen, with she throwing her heart in the ring, you think it's making a lot of people, like scared and irritable and frightened and
if Karen has some of the traits of Mr. Manning, it will make a major difference because Manning meant well and he really took he took it upon himself to try to empower the small men. At least that's what I saw. As a matter of fact, I'm not afraid to say that part of the reason why I moved back to Trinidad is based on Manning's initiative. And it worked well for a while until he called the snap election. But even while it was working, there was still those, and there are still those on the inside who try to fight you down for one reason or another. But Trinidad is an exercise that you had to be ready for. It's tough. It's tough grounds.
somebody said Manning saw what ketos was, but nobody listened. Troy Smith, if you had me, you could tell me a list of what I think we saw that. I saw something of what the 1% own, but how why isn't it we can't see? I don't know, a conglomeration of some of the 99 percenters who have a little more coming together and giving them 1% a run for their money. Why we can't see that?
What happens is that the governance structure, should I say, the political operatives, they depend on the 1% for campaign financing. And there's actually no limit on campaign financing. The thing is wide open. And the 1%ers, they literally buy their way into dominance and supremacy. And not just that, into monopolies. Because there's a lot of monopolistic behavior that takes place among the big businesses in Trinidad. That's how. That's how you would have. That's why you would have one holding company buying up all these businesses and owning all these businesses, and owning their and buying up their competition too.
But Claude Anderson's economics or something. You have to have a base, a financial base, because look, when the police want to go and run into neighborhoods, there's certain neighborhoods they're not going into and rolling upon. Now, if you have a financial base where there's money and the money has to turn over within your neighborhood 10, 15 times, right? The houses are built up nicely, the streets are done. That's why hope would come out of the property tax. You have programs for the youth, and because there's money available. Now I saw them open up a fish fry place down Carenage, right? So I said to myself, okay, Carenage. So let's say I in the east. Let's say I in Arima, or I in St. Augustine, or I in Tunapuna. I have to drive all the way to Carenage to go get. Why can't I just drive to Lavantil in a nice lookout area, Mova, Lavantil area? Closer? You understand me, right?
Yeah, I understand. But
So you see where they put this all the way down Carnage. Why you
yeah,
can't have a fish fry in Tunapuna too? But they have Eddie Hart already, so you know that serves those environs. But why do I don't have to go all the way and buy expensive beer? Where and you see what's happening within that Carnage fish fry? How many of them have license to sell there come from the economically depressed areas?
Good question you're asking there. How
Right?
many?
Yeah, and I bet you I might be wrong. I want to speculate. Let me speculate that plenty hand grease to get them thing to sell, get them boots to selling, right? Tell me if I'm wrong, Tommy. In the climate in Trinidad,
Anything is possible.
I'm speculating. I'm speculating.
And you may
You
be on
know?
point. You could be on point.
Yeah. Anybody from Beetham, anybody from Laventil have a thing to sell in them boots down there, and so how many of them, right?
You have to know somebody. You have to know somebody.
Yeah, grease your hand or this and well, I could help you, you know, but it will cost you 500. It will cost you 3,000. When somebody told me I could help you with the ID card, and it will cost you 500. I said, really? I said, well, you sit there and wait on my $500.
Hmm.
Yeah, something I had before and I didn't have to pay for it. I have to pay now. Well, you have
Hey,
to grease the engine for it to work good. Well,
that's
highly said. To me, the 1% is the politicians. They teach the treasury to get the riches and be the 1%. Albert says, if Trini was not so selfish, the rest of people would own plenty companies because these companies get rich from the next back of the 99% who spend all their money there. You're right, Diana, and they put Afro Trinis to front such businesses.
right.
Really? Hmm.
Right.
What you mean by front, Tommy? Don't go into it. We're getting to the top of the hour shortly.
Yeah. Well, they put the face of the business. They put some of us, you know, and we are so happy for that position to become the BN.
Mhm.
I don't know if you know what I said when I said the BN. Bigger.
Yeah, Tommy. Oh God.
We wear it well.
Read well. Hmm.
We
Yeah,
wear it
we wear it well.
off your course.
Oh, dairy, 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 dairy.
Yeah.
Well, we're approaching the top of the hour, so we're gonna go ahead and do the superlatives once I could find it, because I don't know where this boy from Chumacak drop it, and I have to go look for it. I had it earlier, but
But you want
somehow
to say
it just
broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey? WZYE?
yeah, yep. I could say it and anything, but I don't want him to get into any trouble. I found it, and because I didn't think it right. So we're approaching top of the hour. Um, Go ahead, Tommy.
Oh, well,
This is
of course,
WZYE.
this is WZYE, broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey. To you, just bear with us while we do our station ID, and we'll be right back after this.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
Who's that? Who's that? It's already morning, boy. Maestro. That's the Early this morning, I heard a knocking by my door. Who could it be? I wonder what they're knocking so for. When I open up, who you think I see? Standing all in white right in front of me. I know you're really shocked, explainer, but listen carefully. And hear the message my struggle to me. He tell me to tell everybody not to take no blues. Tell them don't worry and don't get confused. Tell all my fans that I ain't going to stay. I'm taking a short holiday. But in case I ain't get back soon, give the pan and this tune. Now what is this? Tip, 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 tip. The best! Tell them for me, plenty tempo and fire. I got in a crash, me life end in a smash. But recreation turned me to a bionic man. Explain and tell everybody they lie. I am immortal, I could never die. I know it kinda sudden, no I pull out just so. But these then my friends and family know. They tell me to tell everybody not to take no blues. Tell them don't worry and don't get confused. Tell all my fans that I ain't going to stay. I'm taking a short holiday. But in case I ain't get back soon, give the pan man this tune. I want it is. Tip, 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 tip. The best. Tell them for me, plenty tempo and fire. Well, I have to go. Explain I can't wait no longer. Cause I have a show up there with Spoiler and Douglas. King Radio and Attila will be there. I know they could sing, but I have no care. And all of a sudden the man disappear. But the message keep ringing in my ear. He tell me to tell everybody not to take no blues. Tell them don't worry and don't get confused. Tell all my fans that I ain't going to stay. I'm taking a short holiday. But in case I ain't get back soon, give the pan man this tune. I want it is. Tip, 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 tip. The best! Tell them for me, plenty tempo and fire. That is the message from the brother Maestro. Tell them, tell them. Tell them, tell them. Tell them, tell them. Tell them, tell them.
Tell them, tell them.
Yes, that's right. Tell them. That's the late explainer.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Tell them. Hear that? Yeah, boy. He was one of my favorites, and I also loved Maestro. Oh God, I love me some Maestro.
Yeah,
You know?
he was really a legend.
Yeah, boy. And in my writings, you know, whenever I get writer's block, I like to listen to the Bomber. I like to listen to Kitchener, and then I can get my flow again. But you know, something about there. But Calypso is storytelling, so my poetry is storytelling, and my writings, and it does help me to find my flow again. Let me see who came into the chat.
Did you ever sing Calypso when you were in high school or in school in Trinidad?
No, I will sing along to a Calypso, but I am not a good Calypsonian singer.
Yeah, well, we used to have every carnival. We used to have a Calypso contest in high school.
Oh.
I used to dabble in it. I was the mighty cravat.
Mighty who?
Cravat. Remember, there's a bird they call a cravat.
A cravat. All the Tommies are songbird.
Yeah.
I was more of a percussionist.
Well,
Rhythm.
I was professionally a drummer, what they call a trap span, but I dabble in singing and writing and producing and things like that, you know.
I would beat the what do they call it, tambourine. I would do the grater with the afro comb, that thing. I would do iron. I can, but I would sing the chorus, but I am not a calypso singer. I'm more of a bluesy, jazzy singer. That's my style. Yes, Rose. Good night, Rose. You were missing in action for a while. So I see here. Your husband give you back your laptop. Good.
Good night, Rose.
Glad to hear that.
Are you still in Tobago?
Oh, yeah, she in Tobago. Behave yourself, What all that, Rose, as an Aries woman, and now I'm blushing. I like Aries woman. Papa, we ain't getting into that. Albert, let's see what Albert says here.
Who's the Aries woman, Rose?
Aries, I don't know. Albert says here, the PNM party used George Goddard, who was the president of TNT Steel Band Association, for support, and the SWWU, that is Seafront. What is
the Front Workers Trade Union,
right? The support. Let's see here. The support in the first 20 years, and the SWWU started the march on election time. I thought that was what's his name? Buzz Butler. Diana, if you give some loving, you would sing like a canary. Rennie? I'm going to ignore that here.
Rose, you in Tobago?
Cravat is a black. Albert said cravat is a black and yellow bird.
Albert he's a knowledgeable fellow.
She says she in Tobago and she back hurting.
I guess she laying down too much on she back.
Yeah, or she must be lifting up too much load going up a hill in Tobago.
Well, she in Tobago, she taking it easy, so she lying down, just taking it easy. Lying inside too sometimes, Rose.
What kind of were you putting Rose up to? Rose would take what you're saying literally, I'm on the wrong specs today.
No, well, I mean what I'm saying.
Sweetheart, beautiful Diana. A cravat is a jumbie bird. Somebody said Troy Smith.
It is not a jumbie bird. It sings beautifully.
Well, it might be a jumbie bird that sings beautifully, Tommy.
No, it's not a jumbie bird. It's a good-looking bird. It's black and yellow.
How do you spell it? I will tell you that in a minute.
Cravat.
Somebody got it. Kravat.
It's with a C.
That's a crow?
No, you know what a Sempana looks like? It kind of looks like one of them.
I thought a cravat was a tie.
Judy says, Tommy, you love sweet bacchanal.
A cravat is a tie, y'all. What jumbie bird is owl? A cravat is a tie.
Rennie says a jumbie bird is an owl.
Yeah, they say when you hear an owl hooting in the midday. Oh, here's all get. Oh, that's Anselm. So let me bring. You want to come in, Mr. LeBron?
Yeah. So guys, I have the tea. Yes. Are you hearing me?
I'm gonna add Mr. LeBron to the screen. I guess his wife gave him the laptop so he could come in.
Are you guys hearing me?
Welcome to the village.
You hearing me?
Welcome to the village, Anselm. We hear you. You hear us?
I'm clicking, but it ain't letting me. Oh, there we go.
One click, Diana. One click.
Well, I click it, but it ain't there.
No. Are you guys hearing me?
There you are,
Yeah.
sir. Oh, he
You're
came
clear.
out.
So listen to this, right?
I brought him in, but he came out.
Yeah, I have THA Chief Farley Augustine
he is.
on the phone.
You're muted.
Right?
You're
No,
muted.
I'm hearing him, Diana.
Well, I'm not hearing him.
So listen, I have Chief Farley Chavez Augustine on the phone. I'm going to send him the link.
I'm not hearing him.
In order for him to come in on the program, because there was a little mix-up, right? So I'm going to send him the link, and he's going to log in, and then you guys will bring him in, okay?
Oh yeah. Who's going to bring him?
Chief Farley Augustine, the THA chief.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
So
okay.
I'm gonna hang up from you guys, and I'm gonna send him the link, and he's gonna come on. Okay. All right.
Cool. All right.
All right.
Monitor the
I'm seeing it. I see it. It comes up like how I saw Anselm just now.
Yep.
You can't see it, but I could see it.
I know you don't. I don't have administrative powers.
Oh dear, we'll give that to you soon.
Oh, the powers you think I need, I'm gonna get.
Capiza, you miss out. Diana now what? Diana now model for me. What did I do? I model. Who dead, who live. Yo, Capiza, how's he coming? Good night, Capiza. Good night,
Hey.
Captain Singh.
Capitan,
good night. Easy on the people now. Oh, well, Diana, them have we yawning. Yeah. You see you? I'm going to put you in the corner, Rennie. I'm going to put you in the corner. Panelists at the TNT Chamber of Commerce Virtual Workshop said while there are still things to be considered while looking into work from home policy for both, I think that's a good idea because the price of gas gone through the roof, right? And if you're working from home, the company should pay part or all of your internet bill. All right or wrong?
Yep, all of it.
Yep, all of that. All of them is perks to be had. The company should pay, if not part of your internet bill, all of your internet bill. And then you don't have no gas to think. Yeah,
so guys,
yes.
So I just sent Chief Farley Augustine the link, right? And he's gonna log in, right?
Okay.
And so what I'm gonna do, right? With our dinner, it takes about half an hour to 45 minutes before we could actually go to dinner. So I can be with you guys for a very short time, and then I gotta run and meet the wife for the dinner, right? So if I happen to just I'm not just gonna leave you guys. I'm gonna tell you guys, before I leave.
Because somebody said how Diana and Tommy have him yawning, so Rennie
I've been
have we yawning.
Only a guy like Rennie could do something like that. You know what I mean?
Answer, wait. Hailey said, answer your wife, take away your gadgets, boy.
Hailey, I know what you're talking about, that brother. I'll just tell you the truth. But you guys know that we are very transparent with you guys. You guys know that I'm in Cancun, and I'm actually sitting here in the hotel. And if you guys go to my my Facebook page, I give you guys a little synopsis of what it's like. It's always good to go on a vacation. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta get away from the hustle and bustle, and enjoy life. That's what it's about. You know what I mean? So I mean, I'm just sitting here. My wife just left the room, and they're going downstairs to and it's interesting. I'll say to any of you guys, if you never had been to an all-inclusive, not an all-inclusive party, not an all-inclusive fete like there's have in Trinidad, right? But an all-inclusive hotel and stuff. I mean, I've been on quite a few cruises, right? And I ain't lying to you. Tommy, you've been on a few cruises. Diana, you've been on a cruise, right? Tommy,
I've
you've
been
been
to
on a
all-inclusive hotel. I've been to Cancun already.
right.
I went, I didn't like it. Back in the
Well,
90s, I didn't like it
yeah,
because
well,
I won't say why.
no, well, this is fantabulous, splendiferous, and marvelous. I have to tell you, it's first class, no doubt about it. So what happened is that I was just about to go downstairs because we have to go and book for your dinner, and I looked at my phone at 7:52, and I see it says good evening. Is the interview still on? You know, and because I want to say publicly, thanks to Pastor Baines, for setting this up. Pastor Baines is a man of his word. He gave me his word that he was going to get it done. And I didn't want to kind of bother him because, the budget was just read last week. And I know they kind of busy in Tobago. And so and Diana was asking me, I was kind of saying, you know what? I'm not going to type of push it. If he comes in, he comes. If he doesn't come, I wasn't really interested in pushing him, in order for him to come. But,
Capiza say he go fill in.
That sentence have PNM in it. Well, wait,
yeah.
No, wait, no.
No PNM.
That is no. That is not. It's enough Caroni in it. No, does it have PNM? That is Capiza. You sure? I can't see it. That is Capiza.
Yeah. Capiza. But you know why I know it's him? Because he spelled the in the same way all the time.
No, that's not his cousin.
I don't know.
That could be his cousin from Caroni. All right. So guys, hold on. My wife calling me here. Hold on a minute.
Thank you, Judy. Diana and Tommy, I must say you guys are doing an excellent job. Thank you, Judy. So let Rennie go and scratch. Rose, you went and you throw a line and you catch yourself. Yeah, but yeah, no business. She went to throw a line to catch up.
Catch your own self.
And she catch your own self.
You have to go. Yes. Oh, oh my gosh.
Let me see what else
I'm trying to. That's painful.
Well, Capiza wants to know what happened to Magdalena Grant in Tobago.
You hear what he's asking? Where or Bill? Oh my gosh.
Anselm, 2 questions to you from Capiza. One, where Orville? And he wanted to know why you didn't go to Magdalena Grant in Tobago.
Who is that? Capiza?
Capiza.
Yeah. Let me say welcome to Judy. Hey, Rose's Aries. Rose is the same sign as me, yes? Yeah,
Albert says to go. Albert says to go Cuba. All inclusive, very safe, and the restaurants open 24/7.
No, it's the same kind of same thing, yeah. Hey, where Eugene Julian? Oh, you see him?
I ain't see him.
Oh, his wife.
No mean Gene yet.
No mean Gene. What about Ellis?
The wife cut off the internet.
What about Ellis? The wife came back in phone yet?
Oh
good. Well,
yeah, we saw Ellis earlier, didn't we?
See, Albert said, go Cuba, all inclusive, very safe. Restaurants open 24/7. We got a good price for everything. But Albert, we can't go there with a U.S. passport, can we? I don't think so.
There was a small window was opened by Obama that Trump closed that window.
Trump closed, and I hope they reopen it because that's one place I really want to go.
So guys, let me say this, So something happened, and I just got next story. Let me read it for you. I just got so much thing on my phone. Let me see this. That man didn't pick up the thing yet, I sent it to him. He ain't get it yet. Hold up, let me call this guy and see. Let me call this guy back.
Hold on,
I ain't seen him read it yet. Oh, here he is. He just joined us. He just joined us. Yeah, we're not going to wait any longer. Let's bring him in.
You doing it or me?
I brought him in already.
Okay, good.
Let's go solo with him.
All right.
Hello, let's say a special welcome to Mr. Farley Chavez Augustine, the Tobago THA chief. Mr. Augustine, of course, it's in the village with the DAT triplets. The DAT is D is Diana. Diana is considered to be the storm. Right? A is myself and Summer Wall Street. And the T is Tommy, who's a commissioner here in Newark, New Jersey. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How are you all doing?
We are doing fantabulous, splendiferous, marvelous.
We're not hearing him.
And
Answer, we're not hearing him.
Tommy, are you hearing him?
I can hear him.
Yeah,
I'm hearing him.
Yeah, we are hearing him.
Mr. Augustine, can you hear me?
I'm hearing you loud and clear,
Yes, this is the man that I met when I went to Tobago, and I have a picture with him to prove it too.
Yes.
But you didn't come early enough to see me perform my pieces, man.
Oh gosh, I know it is. But how are you all doing?
Okay,
we are doing splendid. Let me ask you a question. I see you have a fresh haircut. Who cut your hair?
Well, the same barber. I've had the same barber for many years. And I actually just decided to cut off the high hair for a while and go back with a low cut.
You're THA chief.
I think then I get kind of wife say time to switch it up a bit.
The wife, the wife,
You know, women has always control. We head up with them kind of things.
No, you want you looking your best.
That's right.
But let me say something to you, right, THA chief.
Sure.
Early in the game, I anointed you as a transformational leader. Right? I am one of the guys that went out front and says, I believe that with you coming in new in Tobago, you as a transformational leader. And I also anointed Mr. Duke as well, a transformational leader. And I can see from the things that you are doing in Tobago that you're making me look good, right? And I wanted to continue, not just make me look good, but the people of Tobago are very happy with you as well, because my father is from Roxborough and I have brothers living in Roxborough. You know, so I'm very
Roxborough. I tell you, it's Roxborough thing. Roxborough. You're telling the children to pronounce the place wrong. I'm told the Trinis though. One of the Trinis, you wanna gotta be like Bajans, proper in your diction.
Roxborough. So Mr. Fali Augustine,
yes.
Were you happy with the allocation in the budget?
Well, I was not. In fact, I'm not happy with the budget at all. You know, I describe the budget as being a typical in-birth budget. So if I tell you that I am surprised, I will be lying. Because in-birth, if you look at the trend, in-birth has almost always had budgets like this. He may give a little if it's an election year, but in-birth seem to believe in an almost Republican type of economics. And that's a kind of right-wing conservative type economics that believes that somehow you must never give anything to the people at the bottom or the middle, and you give everything to those at the top and somehow to trickle down. They call it trickle-down economics. But I have never seen trickle-down economics work successfully anywhere. I've also never seen full-blown socialist left-wing economics work anywhere either. So what you really want from a budget is balance, and so I did not find the kind of balance that I hoped for. For us in Tobago, we hope to get more out of the budget, as is always the case. We got what we have gotten over the last 5 or 6 years or so, which is 4.3% of the budget, which means for every $100 being spent in Trinidad, Tobago gets $4.30 out of every $100 spent in Trinidad. We get $4.30. That's literally what we have to run the island's development with. But we were already making some plans that will help to make up for the breach we will get in the budget. But I'm concerned beyond what Tobago is getting from the budget. I'm concerned that we see all the incentives being placed on the business side. And I could tell you I was there at the TTMA's post-budget discussion. I was there on TV with people. I heard all the wonderful, beautiful things the business community by and large had to say about the budget. But to be honest with you, I asked one question that I have not gotten a response from as yet. And that question was, how is this budget impacting everyday, ordinary citizens? How is this budget impacting the people on the ground, the people who don't own a business, the people who are not one of the exporters in the country, the people who don't own factories and are not in the manufacturing sector? How does this budget actually help them? And I think Trinidad and Tobago needs to be very, very careful. And once upon a time in Trinidad and Tobago, we had the single largest middle class in the entire Caribbean, barring none. We had such a powerful and wealthy middle class that a middle class person in Trinidad and Tobago once upon a time could have easily purchased a home or a car. You will listen to what our parents spent on land and house. They would tell you they were spending 7,000 TT dollars and they were getting land and they were getting house, and for some ridiculously cheap prices, they were able to complete payments for land and home and car during their work life and not post-retirement. That's not the same for Trinidad and Tobago now. And I am concerned that we have too many people who are left out of the loop. And if you go back to that now infamous interview with the Syrian families when they were boasting about being the 1%, one of the Abuds actually said that he was concerned that, there wasn't enough happening among the middle class to create a buffer between their family and the 1% and the very poor among us. And so he was concerned that crime will now become a threat to them because there was no buffer, there was no middle ground to which people can aspire. And I think Trinidad and Tobago, we're missing that point. And when you look across the Caribbean region, you look at Guyana, they put in subsidies to buffer the cost of gas. You go up the Caribbean, you're seeing the same pattern. And in Trinidad and Tobago, we are on a mad rush to remove all subsidies. And there is a notion that somehow we're begging for too much, we want too much, we're demanding too much. And I don't think it's a case of demanding too much. I think it's a case of understanding that the subsidies were there as a way of saying, you the people of Trinidad and Tobago are investors in the oil and gas sector, and this is your check. This is your beneficiary check for being an investor in the global oil and gas business. That's why the subsidies were there, because they weren't necessarily giving every citizen a check to say, this is your return from oil and gas. We were putting the revenues from oil and gas into subsidies to allow for easier and a better standard and quality of living. And I think Imbert misses it when he thinks that he must apply the subsidies only to the very top. Somehow, that will result magically, miraculously, in the average citizen benefiting. And we have not seen that at all. And I'll say one more thing, because I just have been talking. I'll say one more thing, which is this. I have listened to the trade unions, and I think that they may be getting it a bit wrong, in that what the trade unions need to start doing is to start encouraging the citizens to stop patronizing some of these wealthy business classes. If they say, okay, fine, all we can get is 4%, don't go and spend your money and buy no KFC. Don't buy no pizza. Don't go to any rituals. Don't go to no TGIF. Don't go to any of those fancy food chains. Take your money and give it towards your family. Save your money. Don't spend it on those things. If the unions start pushing that and the citizenry start acceding to that wish, what we will find happening is that we will find that those same wealthy business classes in the country will eventually start demanding that the government give more than 4%, because they will not see the kinds of profits that they see now. And I want to be clear, I have absolutely nothing against KFC, nor TGIF, nor the franchise holders. I have nothing against them at all. So I don't want anybody to take this to mean that I have some radical notion that we must just boycott and not participate, and there shouldn't be any KFC or TGIF or Pizza Boys in this place. I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is that the aim of any government must be to create a more equal society. And if we are not doing that, then people have to take hard civil decisions in order to force the government of the day, whoever they may be, to respect people and to dignify people in how it budgets, how it meets its allocations for the fiscal year.
Now, Mr. Augustine, do you believe that we should make the rich richer so they can help the poor?
I don't believe in that economics at all. In fact, when you look at statistics, and I did some economics because I had to do international relations, so I did economics. And my research says to me that one, the wealthy classes often spend less in an economy than the poorer classes. That's number one. Number two, you will find that it is your middle class and lower class people that are more likely to drive an economy with their spending patterns. And so giving more to the rich does not result in wealth trickling down. What will trickle down will be the crumbs, what isn't wanted. The rich is always seeking to get richer, and the poorer classes, in the pursuit of being richer, will actually spend more in the economy. So I don't believe that somehow making people richer is good for everybody. It's not. And this is a global debate that we're having. It's a debate that the people like Bernie Sanders are having, that the people like Jeremy Corbyn having, that people across the world having, about how do we ensure that we safeguard the pockets, the families of the poorer classes. And it has nothing against people who are rich. If you're wealthy, then congratulations. I am happy for you. In fact, the more millionaires Trinidad and Tobago can turn out, granted that being a millionaire in Trinidad and Tobago is not like being a millionaire in Guyanese dollars. But the more millionaires we can turn out as a country, that is a positive sign for the country. So nothing against having more wealthy people, but the goal cannot be to make the rich richer. The goal has to be wealth distribution. It has to do with what in economics we talk about the Gini coefficient, which has to do with the distribution of wealth across individuals, across families, and how that spread is actually impacting the economy.
Well, Mr. Chavez, we listened to some rumblings from individuals within the current government, and a person that might be kind of close to you there in Tobago made some statements that, and I'm just going to read this sentence for you. It says, everybody wants everything but is willing to give up nothing. When I look at the amount of money that an individual makes, it's supposedly $41,000 a month. There's car allowance, there's tax allowance, there's food allowance. When you go to the grocery, you'd rather buy not, you'd rather pay, you'd rather take out money out of your wallet or your purse or your Gucci purse or your Prada purse, to pay for the gasoline. You'd rather pay for the, I think Mr. Chavez kind of left us. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, you went blank, but that's all right. Right? You don't have to pay for it. And when you have an opportunity to correct that statement, instead of apologizing, you tell the reporter, well, go on and listen to what I said now. What is your opinion on that?
Right. So, and that's the thing, for those of us who are in government, for those of us who are elected, we have to be careful. I know very well what the salaries are for those of us who are in the government side versus those in the minority side. In fact, let me be as transparent as I can. As an assemblyman, up until December, my salary was $11,300 TT dollars. That's the salary of a regular assemblyman. In fact, I made less as an assemblyman than I made as a teacher in the country. The minority leader got a little more, I think about 14,000 something, somewhere around there. When I became chief secretary, my salary is equivalent to a government minister. So Shamfa's salary is similar to mine. However, Shamfa gets significantly more. And let me not just say Shamfa, but Miss Kujo, she gets significantly more allowances than I do. Because she will have a Tobago allowance, she will have a larger housing allowance.
Yes.
Her residence is provided for me, so I get no housing allowance. So she has several allowances that makes her salary significantly more than mine. And I will never make such a statement because I see the position that I am in and the salary that comes with the position as both a blessing and a privilege. A blessing from God, no doubt, but a privilege that people can take away in a heartbeat. Do I think that the salaries of elected members are at the best? I don't think so. I think one of the reasons why corruption is rampant in the country is because the salaries of elected officials are too low. So it's easy for them to take bribes and kickbacks and so on. But at the same time, the salaries of those of us who are elected are significantly more than the average salary of the average citizen. Therefore, there is a need for us to be sensitive about what others make and don't make. There are many, many people out here as them who do not have the benefit of knowing where they are going to buy groceries from next week. I could tell you, I have hampers here at the residence, hampers in the vehicle, because there isn't a place I don't drive to or walk to where I'm not encountering someone who is struggling and need a hands up. And so I can't look to those whose salaries are not as fortunate as mine and say, well, make some more sacrifices. In Tobago, we say, there's a saying that full belly man like to tell hungry belly man, take heart, keep heart. In other words, those of us who belly full like to turn to them who belly empty and say, it's all right, man, things go work out. Don't worry yourself, things go work out. Take a little sacrifice. But that to me is highly insensitive. And I understand she tried to explain it away and talk about context. And yes, we all are called to make sacrifices, but equal giving is not equal sacrifice. And let me explain what that means. If I am taxed at 10%, if I'm taxed 10% out of $1,000, and you are taxed 10% out of $100, we both are giving the same amount, in percentage-wise, 10%. But that equal giving is not an equal sacrifice. I, at $1,000, will be giving $100 to the coffers. But you with $100 giving $10 and being left with 90 is making by far a larger sacrifice. And so those of us who are privileged and blessed to be in this position, we do not have any right whatsoever saying to people whose sacrifices at this moment might be more, that they should just sacrifice more, that they should be quiet, and they should just take some penance for whatever we decide to give. It is just the reality. People have it much more difficult than they did 2 years ago pre-COVID than they did 5 or 10 years ago. And that's why I'm not satisfied the budget has done enough to generate economic activity and to move people from where they are to where they need to be and to put monies in the pockets of families. I am not satisfied that a sufficient of that was done.
Mr. Farley, I have a question for you.
So,
now, up and down the Caribbean, we have similar islands, similar archipelagos, varying population count. And I look at the Cayman Islands, and it says that their population count is similar to Tobago's last census count. Why is it? And they have self-government and self-autonomy and all this good stuff, right? Unless they are a colony of Turks and Caicos or Anguilla, right? They have the last census count here. It's stating that they are 65,720. Tobago is about that or a little more, around in the same area.
Same, yes.
Well, so what's blocking Tobago from being a place like Cayman Islands? I mean, yeah, there's constitutional change need to be made and stuff. Do you think if the constitutional changes were made, I don't mean breaking up the islands because it's so long, Trinidad and Tobago, but give you some sort of self-government where you determine what you think that's feasible?
It is very feasible, and if you talk to people like Dr. Vanos James, they will tell you about how getting autonomy can impact the economy. While Cayman Islands has a similar population size as Tobago, the GDP of Cayman Islands at this moment, the growth rate of Cayman Islands at this moment might actually be higher than Trinidad and Tobago as a whole. And that should tell you something. And Cayman Islands, their main source of income is tourism. It's sector. And they took time to build that out. Yes, they are not a republic like we are, and they answer to the British Crown and answer to the British Parliament for many things. But they do have greater measure of internal self-government than Tobago does, which means that they're able to make certain decisions on their own, and they're not depending on the United Kingdom to do so. We also have to bear in mind that the Cayman Islands has a mixture of tourism and also financial services.
Correct.
And we should not discount the contribution of what we call in the developed world offshore banking to the overall income and economy of the Cayman Islands. That too is another service sector. So you see that tourism on its own is not sufficient. You have to operate within clusters with tourism and finance, tourism and healthcare, tourism and sport, tourism and education. You go to Grenada and you see how to become more tourism and education has driven Grenada's economy, because now they have education as an export service, education for export, tourism for export. That's where we need to go as an island in Tobago. We need to head in that direction if we are to see the kinds of gains that the Cayman Island has had. And yes, the Cayman Island is actually a very good comparison that we can make.
Yeah, I think that, when you look at, because I just Googled the GDP, the gross domestic product in Cayman Islands was worth about $5.61 billion in 2020, according to the official data from the World Bank. So you can see, 5.61 billion. It's a very small island, but really, really, really excellent when you talk about tourism, because a lot of the cruise ships also dock in Cayman Islands, and that's bringing, a lot of people with US dollars into the island, and not only that, but other young entrepreneurs, and able to survive, off, just those cruise ships alone docking in, the Cayman Islands. But let's get back to Tobago, right? What is the status of the people around the new airport that's going to be expanded or built?
Right. So there is at this moment one remaining block of residents we moved, and that's about 30 households still to be moved. The 7 households that were part of the controversy recently, when they wanted to just break them down, they have essentially moved with the assistance of the THA. And the THA has provided everything for them, from lands for resettling, to assistance with rebuilding, to assistance with moving, assistance with renting in the interim, assistance to also get storage, so that the move will be as easy as possible for them. I have had a very consistent position, which is, yes, we need an airport and we need a new terminal. No questions about that. And you were just in Tobago, so you see what our terminal looks like now. It's pretty tiny, right? And cannot hold any large number of foreigners. But I have two requirements. One, we must actually compensate the residents properly for their land, compensate them at market value for their land. And two, we must move people in the most humane manner so that we could secure families. Because you don't want in this process while you're building a spanky new terminal to end up with too many dispossessed families, too many families without a roof over their heads, too many families struggling to get back on their feet. This exercise should not make them poorer. If for nothing else, this exercise should make them better off and position them in such a manner they can live and the families can live for generations to come. And I think what was handled badly from the onset was the communication with the residents and the actual moving of the residents. That was handled badly. And another reason why that should have been done by the THA as opposed to the central government, because had the THA led the process as it should have, then the THA could have safeguarded the interests and the livelihoods of the residents in that area.
Because I was on the ground recently, as you know, and it was pointed out to me by a person who lives there, a location there not far from Orkinskio. You're going to turn off to go to Orkinskio and you're heading to Scarborough. On the left, they look like apartment buildings, and they said there's no electricity there and there's no water. And they said some of those people who were moved from the airport to accommodate the airport were housed there. I said, but how are you getting by with no electricity? So, and this person is a credible individual. It's not a rumor.
I would have to look into that.
Yeah.
But the lands that the residents for moving them to, that is not complete. We met that incomplete in terms of the land preparation and the provision of the utilities. And we are working feverishly to make that happen so that people can move seamlessly from where they're now renting to where they
move people. They move people from having kitchen garden and how backyards and outdoor, and put them in an apartment, and that's kind of a an adjustment. It's hard to become accustomed to when you're accustomed to a certain space. And then you get confined, So.
Any apartment we put residents in during this process will only be temporary, right?
Okay.
It will only be temporary. Right. So,
all right.
So it's a temporary measure until we can get them permanently back on freehold the lands or leasehold lands with their own home.
So Mr. Chavez, there is an initiative that came out of the THA, right, that I thought was an outstanding initiative. That was an initiative to kind of coordinate with the diaspora as far as, the Tobagoans that are living in the diaspora. Is that initiative still on, or is that on hold, or what?
Yes, it is still on, and I will be taking up that slack from the Office of the Chief Secretary. So hopefully sometime soon you will see me in the tri-state area so that I can begin to engage with members of the diaspora. And this is not just a Tobago thing. I feel as though the Caribbean has not valued its diaspora. Well, most of the Caribbean, that is. Yes, we love the remittances, which is people running to Western Union or MoneyGram to get a change from a relative. Yes, we grow up loving the barrels and the boxes coming along at Christmas time. And you get to open it and see all the foreign snacks and goodies and sweets in the barrel. But there must be more to diasporic engagement than just getting remittances from our citizens that live abroad. we ought to engage the citizens that live abroad. And before the election, before I got here, I said it, and I am going, and I'm keeping that promise to be true, that I will love to accommodate members of the diaspora in Tobago, investing in Tobago. At the moment, I'm preparing some prospectus for investments on the island, so that members of the diaspora, those who have some kind of capital, some kind of wealth or access to, can decide, I will invest home in Tobago. I will come home and build new villas. I will come home and build out a hotel or invest in a hotel and become a shareholder. I will come home and build out this park or build out this playing field. And so what we're working out now is what the incentives will be for members of the diaspora, so that members of the diaspora like yourself will be encouraged to invest back home in Tobago.
So, go ahead, Tommy.
I'm taking it in a different direction. Now, there's been someone settling with the party that you came into power with. At this particular time, what seems to be the resolution or final resolution as it relates to the PDP and not PDP or another or whatever? Can you?
Well, let me be honest with you. I have not made a final resolution in terms of what should happen on the political party side. That's because I've been very focused on ensuring that the governing of the island is not disrupted in any way whatsoever. And that has happened. We have kept stable, we have kept focus, and we just kept pushing through. And yes, we had an unfortunate rangle-tangle, so to speak, that resulted in one member stepping away or resigning from the executive. And that's okay. I think we love him the same and appreciate him the same. We just don't see eye to eye on this issue. I also have a very firm position as a leader, very hard and fast position, that I avoid breaking rules. I avoid breaking rules for anybody, except in instances where rules either make no sense or where the rules stymie growth and development. Outside of that, I am not going to break any rules whatsoever. And that will be difficult for some people to appreciate and to work along with. And so it is what it is. I continue to pray for my brother and hope and wish him well. But at this moment, we are in this space, but we're not together in this space. And certainly, the team remains focused, the team remains steadfast, and the team remains a one united team. That's the important part.
What do you expect to come out? What kind of results are you looking for from the upcoming Tobago Carnival?
Well, I could tell you what we will get. Given that the hotels up to last week were about 90% sold out, given that every flight, every sailing put on is sold out within hours, I'm in a position to say to you that we will be getting some additional flights between Trinidad and Tobago. We will also be getting some additional flights from New York and from Miami. Caribbean Airlines will open up additional flights from Miami and from New York as well. We met and they agreed to that, and that announcement should come this week officially, so that we will be able to get as many more people into Tobago as possible. I expect that we will have a challenge with accommodation. I expect accommodation to be rammed out, as we say. I also expect the streets to be rammed out. I expect everything from the Juve to the night mass to mud to pretty mass, that those will all be very well subscribed to. And there is some novelty in it that people want to see how this thing will work, given that it's the first time Tobago is having it. But I am confident it will work, and I'm confident that in the years to come, that Tobago Carnival will not just attract a large number of people coming to party, but it will attract a lot more foreign investment, outside investment, that will result in moving the product. And I'll say this one more thing. Carnival, dancing, music, painting, they all fall within the category known as the orange economy. And you know, growing up in Trinidad and Tobago, nobody thought that you could be a creative, as they call themselves now, and earn. Those were seen as pastimes and hobbies. So the girl or the boy in your class that were excellent singers never pursued singing. They went to university and studied accounts or to be a doctor. Those that were exceptional dancers did not go to Juilliard. They did not go to Berkeley College of the Arts. They did not move on to any university education to study that. Those who were dramatists, again, did not follow up because there was a notion in the space that in the creative sector, you can't make money. It's not a place where you can earn from. And so what we are doing by opening up Carnival in Tobago is not just to have another period for Trinbagonians to fete. Because trust me, we could have just called a fete and the fete would have run out the same way. But it's an opportunity for us to monetize the orange economy. It's an opportunity for us to send Carnival practitioners all over the world to give that knowledge exchange. We can have trading of goods and services for Carnival. A mass band designer in Tobago may very well find himself or herself designing a costume for Labor Day quite in New York, or perhaps designing for some show like the singing show, The Mask, designing for a show like that, designing like Peter Mitchell for an Olympics opening, that kind of thing. But it starts with these simple steps that we are now making.
Chief, if you could stay with us for just a few more short minutes. We just have 1 or 2 questions in the chat, and I want to ask you about those three, that portrait you have in the back there, you know, if that is some inspiration from the individuals in the back of you. So stick and stay, right? We're going to go up for a quick station identification. It's in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. Stick and stay. We'll be right back after this.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
We are back with you. It's in the village with the DAT Triplets and WZYE 95.9 FM. We have with us tonight, no other than Chief Farley Chavez Augustine, who has joined us tonight here in the village with the DAT Triplet. So let's start with the portrait you have in the back, Chief. That portrait.
Yes, so this is a piece of artwork with 3 shades, almost monochromatic. It's done by an artist, Mr. Rodney, and it's a portrait of the late former President, His Excellency Ian R. Robinson. And it's a piece of art that was acquired by the THA long before I came into office. And I opted to have it hung in the office at the residence as inspiration, as a reminder that that one, change management requires change to be incremental. And as much as I adore a lot of what Robinson stood for, Robinson experienced 1990 because change management, the changing of the guards was just too rapid. If I always tell people, if it is you want this bottle to be moved 360 degrees, just turn it around quickly can cause a spillage. But if you incrementally turn it around, you will achieve the same result at a later time, but you're more likely to have much more effective change. So I'm reminded of that every time I look at him and look at the experience of 1990. I'm also reminded that it is okay to stand on principle and to stand for what you believe, even when it does not fall in line with what others in the space believe, with what even your own party may believe. But you need to stand for what you believe in and stand for people critically. And thirdly, this portrait reminds me that one can come from Tobago, from humble beginnings, and get to anywhere in the world, ascend to anywhere in the world. We think of Anna Robinson, he was chairman of the THA. In fact, before that, he was the country's last deputy prime minister. He was the country's first minister of finance post-independence. He was also perhaps the first one to break away from a major party to form another party. He was the first chairman of the Tobago House of Assembly. He was then a member of parliament for Tobago East. And as member of parliament for Tobago East, he pushed and pushed so we can get internal self-government. He's also the one that is responsible for bringing the motion and proposal to United Nations for the ICCJ, the International Criminal Court of Justice. Look at where that Court of Justice is now. I don't know if we have any sitting judges on that court, but the court exists right now as we speak. So the point is, you could be a Robinson, you could be a Castara kid, you could be a Speyside kid, you could come from Plymouth, you could come from Lambeau and Boko, you can come from areas where illegal drugs are abundant, where gunshots pop off ever so often, and still make it, and make it all the way to being a productive citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. That is ultimately why I have that portrait behind my head.
You know, Mr. Augustine, THA Chief, what was instructive in one of your statements, right, is that you indicated that Mr. Robinson broke away from a big party, right? You have been removed as the deputy political leader of a big party. I don't hold your head now. I don't hold in your head. Right? You have been removed from a big. Now listen, I wasn't going to ask any question, though, but with once you tell me about the portrait after I asked the question, now you was removed from a big party. You know, I mean, is there anything in the future with respect to you? Because, Mr. Augustine, you are well liked in Tobago. You know, if we're speaking truth to power. For those who saying otherwise, maybe they might be living on an island off Tobago.
Little Tobago.
Yeah, they might be another island off Tobago. So, I mean, there has to be some point in time, Mr. Augustine, because you're removed from deputy political leader of the PDP. You know, there's going to come a point in time when you have to make a decision, right? You know, do you want to share any of that with us now?
Well, I agree. There will come a time when a decision has to be made. That decision has not been made yet. I won't take too long in terms of making that decision, but I always believe in measuring 2, 3, 4 times before cutting. I also have an appreciation for the fact that I didn't come to this place just because I wanted to be chief secretary. I came because I really and truly have a broader vision and plan for the development of the island. And I think the decision in terms of where I or the team goes post September 15th or post that week in September will all rely on serious consultation and conversations with people across the space. So I'm not too worried about that now. I am not too concerned about that immediately. I think the time will come for that. It will come sooner rather than later, but the time has not arrived for that.
Okay, I want to just piggyback on something that you said, right? You said that you have a broader vision and plan for Tobago, right? Does that include a future run for Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago?
Let me say this, and I'll be very true. I have never given much thought to national politics, to be honest. Never ever thought about it. never saw it as an option for me. A lot of people have been saying that to me of late, and I've said to all of them that not that I'm not ambitious, but at this point, it is not a thought. The goal for me at this point must be developing Tobago to a respectable place and stage and level. Anything could come afterwards. I could also tell you that I think Trinidad and Tobago as a whole, as a country, the kind of leadership that requires, at this point might be Jesus alone could give it. This country is troubled, and this country might be heading into the abyss of ungovernableness. And so it's very difficult to bring people back from that place. In fact, I spoke with Ms. Kojo about a week ago or 2 weeks ago thereabouts. She had a program in Tobago and I was invited. And I was saying to her, I said, how do you all make it down in Trinidad? From one thing is another to another. A ceaseless run of bacchanal.
Yep.
And I don't know if right now I'm still keeping the hair on the head. Go it high, cut it low. I don't know if I am there yet. This way must never say never. So I'm not saying never, but I certainly I'm not considering that as an option at the moment. I'm really not considering it. My focus is zeroed in on Tobago. I will offer my advice to Trinis though, and to say to Trinis that you all need to do something radical, something revolutionary down in Trinidad there. If it is you all are to get anything better, if it is you all have to benefit from a higher standard of living and stop getting budgets where a man will just cut the gas subsidy, cut this, cut that, and then chuckle and say, well, at least they ain't riot yet. You know, you all in Trinidad have to band together and find a way to do better. And let me say this, in the Trinidad space, I see endless political leaders there across the board that just, I don't know that they fit for governance anywhere across this space. And I'm not saying it from a narcissistic place. I'm just saying to Trinis, you have to get up and make some firm decisions about your lives, about your livelihood, about your island, about what do you want. You look at crime rate, and it can't just be who you vote for. It has to be your responsibility as a citizen. You look at the crime rate. In people's communities, people living there knowing the criminal activities happening. They hear the gunshots at night. They wouldn't even report it. They wouldn't even bother to bat an eyelid about it. And the thing festers and festers and festers. You in Trinidad have to take stock of your lives and of your island and demand more and demand better from your government and your opposition. You have to demand more and demand better from both major political parties. It can't be that the only time you're known by political parties when it's election time, when it's time to mobilize to go on a van back. You have to demand more from your government. It is your right to.
Now, Mr. Augustine, you said something radical has to happen, right? And many people will say something radical happened in Tobago because in the history of Tobago, I don't think in the history of Tobago, you ever had a 14-1 victory for a new party in the political landscape, right? Right? Are you trying to say, are you saying that we need the same kind of radical change in Trinidad?
Yep.
No doubt. It's needed. And not just Trinidad, I like to always put Trinidad and Tobago in the context of the Caribbean. Partly because I guess misery likes company. So it's always good to know that we are not alone in the misery of poor governance. But by and large, because across the Caribbean, we are all the same in terms of post-colonial, post-slavery, post everything society that's now trying to build a mature and an established community for ourselves. And that is very challenging for people traumatized by colonialism and traumatized by outsiders running the show. That becomes difficult. I could tell you in some territories, they are looking for ways to get past that. I'm not sure Trinidad and Tobago has diligently looked for solutions to get past those traumas and things that we have experienced, so as to ensure that we have a more cohesive society. But Trinidad and Tobago, you have to take some decisive action. You have to take some decisive action.
And Mr. Augustine, there is an upcoming internal election coming up in the PNM. So maybe, maybe, just maybe, you might be sending the people of Trinidad and Tobago, especially for the party that's going to have an internal election, you might be sending them a message. But I'm not going to.
Let me tell you something. This election, let me be honest with you, I don't see anybody but the incumbent winning back.
Why is that?
Right?
Why is that?
Because I don't think the competition is really a match. Let's be honest. There is time, because the election, I understand, is in December. And I don't want to be the people business, because cockroach have no business in fall party.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Full 100. Full 100.
I'm giving my comments only at the superficial surface level, because I am business about their business. But I'm thinking between now and December, when they have internals, that's a long time. And so yes, a team and someone can mobilize and get things in place. But we have to have from those wishing to lead their party a lot more assertiveness. You're getting it from Ms. Karen Teixeira, but I don't know that she has the oomph to win. I don't know that anybody but Dr. Rowley there is poised to win. Now, it's early game, early days, so an upset can happen. But I really do not know that anybody else there has the capacity to beat him.
What is that oomph that Carol Teixeira doesn't have?
All right, so Miss Teixeira Nunez, she was out of the politics for a very long time, since Patrick Manning. There's literally a generation of voters that don't know who she is. I know who she is, because I've always paid attention to politics. But many young people on the north side of the island will not know who she is and what she stood for and why they should possibly support her. They won't know.
So can that be rectified with a very what's the word? A needlepoint campaign, and like telling her, this is Mr. Share, put her in front where on the back of the bus, on TV, and wherever. Just
no, of course.
Isn't that possible?
Yes, it's possible. And that's what I'm saying. December is a far way off. It is possible, but they will need to put in more work than he would need to. The incumbent almost always has an easier time in these professions.
Mr. Augustine, many people never thought 14-1 was possible, right?
Yep.
Correct. I was looking for 12. That was the number. I had 12, and we ended up way more than 12.
And that is because many people were disenchanted with what was in the space there in Tobago. And
correct.
And I believe that the same is happening as a matter of fact, I-95.5 did an unscientific survey, right? And I-95 is pro-PNM, right? I mean, we all know that, right?
Yeah.
And their unscientific survey said that 55% of the people, right, will like somebody different. I'm paraphrasing here now. 55% of the people wants the current leader gone. No, this is not my survey. That's their survey.
Oh.
You
Well,
see?
remember he did say at one point he was going to the last election. And again, it's a typical Caribbean political move to say going and never leave. You know, long Ralph Gonzalez say going, he ain't going yet. Right? If Holness gets a chance, he will run there until he can't ride his bike on campus anymore. If schools are given a chance, they will probably open out beyond what they are accustomed to. So the point is, we have to double down on Caribbean leaders and demand more from them. If you look at the history of the Caribbean, and we teach it in our schools, as I was just making a point, from the Jagans across in Guyana to those up in Haiti, Papa Doc and those fellas in Haiti. You look down in the Caribbean to the Bird Dynasty. You look at what's happening in St. Vincent, look like we might end up having a Gonzalez dynasty there. We have to teach our young people in the school system that in leadership, it's okay to know when it is time to walk. And you don't have the repository of all the knowledge. Sometimes you must know when to quit. Always quit while you are ahead.
So, Mr. Chavez, let me just quickly go to a few questions here in the chat. It says, Mr. Farley Augustine, Albert Montano says, Mr. Farley Augustine, the small hotels in Tobago need plenty of assistance to survive and build a tourist industry. What do you say?
Yes, they do. We actually working out some packages for some subsidies and support for them as we speak. So absolutely, that's needed.
And Judy says, Mr. Farley Chavez, you better form your party to rescue Trinidad and Tobago's nationals. Somebody else says, Mr. Chavez, what are you doing about the audit and will the people get the report?
Oh, yes, most definitely. I gave a preliminary report that was in September, and I expect to have the final report that I will make public and that I will personally walk to different agencies for action.
Okay, Lana says, I think you answered this question. Question to Mr. Chavez. Will he be running for PM of Trinidad and Tobago in the next general election?
That question? By saying that that's a consideration at the moment.
Right. So Troy Smith says, ask him why Orville London didn't get the vision to build the ANR airport when millions was pumping into the THA.
Oh boy.
I can do something. A new airport terminal has been on the cards since Hot Choy Charles. We are now going to actually build a road that goes through Friendship that more or less was on the cards since Hot Choy Charles. Hot Choy Charles was chief secretary between 1996 and 2001. Look at the amount of years that has passed. In excess of 20 years before we could actually get started on a project that was envisioned some 20 plus years before. That is really not good.
And Ulrich says, do you think your move was the right one? I don't know if the move, I could speculate, maybe the move with respect to the DCS. I don't know. I'm speculating.
I assume that's what he's asking about too.
Yes.
I think it was the right one. I felt like the DCS demonstrated publicly an inability to grasp the way the THE operates by law. I feel like he embarrassed the executive, of which he was a part, and he sought to take himself out and to almost wage a political war against the very team that he was a member of. I think that was ill-conceived, and notwithstanding that fact and the fact that I'm someone that believes in forgiveness and all of that. I think, as unfortunate as it was, it's just something that just had to happen, and it happened the way I guess it's. I think it happened in the cleanest possible way. Given that eventually he resigned, and we just moved on with the executive.
Mr. Augustine, do
Yes.
you see that you guys making back up with respect to the PDP?
At this moment I can't see it, but as I said, never say never. You know, in Tobago
You
we
can't
have a
see it. You
saying,
say you can't see it.
not at the moment.
Okay.
The former DCS and I have not had a conversation since. I've not seen him since. When he offered his resignation on the 15th of September, I invited him to two virtual meetings, the 14th and on the 15th again. I think the 15th was a Thursday. I invited him on the Wednesday, which I understood he could not attend, and I had an appreciation for. And I invited him again on the Thursday, and instead we got a resignation letter. And I really don't see it at the moment because we don't have any line of communication between us at all. We don't at the moment. But again, I wish him nothing but the absolute best. I pray for him the same way I pray for my family, and I pray that God will cover him the same way.
Mr. Chavez, I have one question for you.
So,
does the PDP have an internal constitution, rules, your bylaws and stuff? And is that, or can it be made public?
yes, we do have a constitution with laws and bylaws. It would mean that some point in the near future, I think it should probably be this year or for the latest next year, there may be and internal elections and all of those things that we see happening within PNM. So we do have a constitution that we do follow.
No, Mr. Chavez, I think this could be my last question, right?
Sure.
We see in Trinidad and Tobago, it's supposed to be a democracy. And a democracy is free and fair elections, right? Anybody's supposed to be able to compete against anyone, right? For any position. However, when we look at what happened in the two past internal elections in Trinidad and Tobago, anyone that's within the party or within the cabinet cannot compete against the leader, the political leader. It happened in the UNC. No one could have competed against Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, who was within the party. It's now happening in the PNM as well. No one can compete against Dr. Rowley, who is within the party. Is that same thing going to happen to you guys in with you as a THA chief in Tobago? Are you going to allow other people, to compete against you who are in the assembly?
Now, let me say this. The hallmark of a good leader is raising up other leaders. There must be continuity.
Yeah.
I have made it very clear to my team that I intend to retire from politics young. Very, 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 very clear. I'm not trying to beat back Orville's record of 4 consecutive terms in office. I am not interested in that record at all.
Somebody also said, Chief, that this term was going to be our last term, and I'm not going back up. And he's going back up again. Somebody said that.
I'm aware of that.
Okay.
I guess a man is not a man unless he's able to change his mind. Right? That's a reality. A man must be able to change his mind and say he changed his mind, but he should say so. And shouldn't find a flimsy excuse for changing their mind, but should say, I changed my mind, I thought this true, and I think differently. And that's okay and that's reasonable. I wish we had term limits, because it will prevent all of us, including myself, from considering more than 2 terms.
Correct.
I think what term limits, what that does is that it allows for talent to be spread across the territory. So you're not just getting all the talent from in one place, but you're allowing for talents elsewhere to surface and to contribute to the leadership and guidance of the country. That's democracy, and that's what you really want. And so, yes, I know someday somebody will come for my job the same way I told Orville I will come for your job and did so. I know someday someone will come for my job as well. And that has to be acceptable. That has to be appreciated for what it is. And I hope I am not unceremoniously thrown out. Every politician hopes for that. But in Tobago, we say, you don't know where breezes come from to lean fountain. So,
I like you need to write a book with those sayings, though.
so the thing is, you don't know where things just come out of nowhere, and it is just what it is, I appreciate Sean Fritz.
And here's the last question from the chat. Is Mr. Watson you going to be participating in the Tobago Carnival?
I have no idea if he will be. He may as well as he may not. He's still a member of the THA. He is still invited to all the functions of the THA, all the events of the THA. He's still invited because he's a member of the THA. And so he will be invited just as every other member to the Tobago Carnival and its activities. And let's see where that goes.
Now, Mr. Augustine, are you guys still going to set up that office in Trinidad where you allocated between 60 to 80 million? And who's responsible for that?
Actually, I had a meeting today about it. The office is now duly acquired, and the setup will begin for that office, as in the build out of the office will begin in earnest. I will be taking responsibility for doing that now, so that kind of engagement and outreach can happen sooner rather than later, before we get to the end of the year.
So Mr. Augustine, you're taking the diaspora, which was the DCS. You're taking the build out, which was the DCS. What's next? Just asking.
Well, I have nothing else I plan to take. But
not to take. I mean, I know you can't take anything because you're the chief.
But in all seriousness, I plan to do some strategic restructuring in terms of our operations as an assembly, and that will facilitate the kind of due diligence to some of the tasks that was previously assigned to the Office of the Deputy Chief Secretary.
Well, Mr. Augustine, we want to say thank you so much. And let me say something, Mr. Augustine, you have a fella by the name of Pastor Baines.
Yes.
Pastor Baines is a different kind of person, And let me tell you why. I'm being honest with you. We have called Pastor Baines 3 times on this show. We just pick up the phone and call him. And every single time, he pick up the phone.
Yep.
Every time, I say, Pastor Baines, something had wrong with you, man. You not normal.
Well, let me assure you that I am not Pastor Baines in that regard.
No.
I have horrible phone ethics, in that I know reaching me is difficult by phone. I work all day till very late. I saw someone in the chat was saying that I look tired. Yes, I am tired. I saw somewhere in between this interview, I probably nodded off in the middle of it. But I really give credence to members of the team like Pastor Baines, who is able to ensure that we stay connected in more ways than one. And people like Baines, you can always get them on the phone. Every week I select a day in the week just to do groundwork, just to get out in the field, just to meet with people, that kind of thing. Because the key is to stay connected to people in one way or the other. It's just very important.
And also, Mr. Augustine, we want to say to your other two, I think it's Niall George and another gentleman. We picked up the phone and we called them. One of them was actually, who's that?
Ned.
No, yeah, we called Ned as the chairman. There was another guy, and one of the guys was actually fixing a tire, and he picked up the phone to answer to us, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So
I have a question for Mr. Chavez. I want to piggyback off of, remember the proposal I submitted on behalf of a certain entity that we
Yeah,
wanted to bring this a summit to Tobago. Are you
correct.
guys still embracing things like that, or are you going to be
Oh
looking into
yes,
it? Or, okay,
yes, we are. I have
okay,
the file. It was minuted, and that was sent to the chief ad for action. So you should get some communication soon from from the chief ad's office on the proposal.
okay, good. Thank
And
you.
let me say this. Judy says, Mr. Chavez, we in the village do appreciate your appearance in the village. Thank you. Universal blessings to you and yours.
Yes.
Mr. Chavez, one question before you leave, please.
Sure.
Now, I know you have a list of goals. Which is the highest on your agenda at this particular time?
At this particular time, the highest on the agenda is the autonomy issue. It's actually coming up back in the parliament, in this session of the parliament. And so we are preparing
Okay.
to engage, to advocate, to have the conversations, to educate people, especially in the Trinidad space, and to ensure that we have a bill passed this time. So that is a particular lofty
Yes.
goal of ours.
And before you go, I want to publicly again thank Pastor Baines for organizing this and,
Yes.
and, and getting
He
you.
made sure he, he called my assistant. He made
Eh,
sure I get the number. He tell me add the phone number on my phone. The assistant took the number, I tell my phone. The assistant reminding me,
yeah.
push me out of the office so I could get home. So I will quickly sit down and do the interview. So thank you very much, Pastor Baines, for your insistence.
Yes. That's why. And you know, and let me tell you something, right? Pastor Baines have two songs, Cover
Cover
Me
me. And
and
when
When
God
God Bless a
bless
Man.
a man.
We
Yes.
play those two songs at the beginning of our show, every single show, every show, right?
We didn't,
We
we didn't
we
play it
also play the
today.
one. We also play the latest one that he sing for you too. Right?
Oh, yes.
You just play that one too. But we tell Pastor Baines we really do
Yeah.
appreciate what he has done for us. And
Most
you know,
of the time.
sometimes publicly people don't appreciate him, but we want to say, Pastor Baines, we do appreciate you very much and thank you so much, you know, for all
And
you have
and
done
and,
here.
mi- and Mr. Chavez, you promised me to have a beer with me last time, but you didn't do it. But I'm letting you know that I'll
Uh-huh.
be in Tobago for the winter, so we will have plenty time to have that beer and that breadfruit.
That's right. Beer and breadfruit it is.
Good.
And
Yes.
lastly, someone else says, God bless you always, sir, Mr. Chavez. Thank you. You made the show tonight. And on that note, Mr.
Yeah.
Augustine, any closing words before you go?
Not just to say to members of the diaspora looking on and listening that, you know, I'm happy to engage with you. I see you as part of who we are. I see you as very much Caribbean, very much Tobagonian, very much Trini, very much
And
Bajan,
Bajan.
very much whoever you are, despite the fact that you have had to live abroad. We have an appreciation, an acute appreciation for the fact that most of our relatives and friends have had to leave our shores because of a scarcity of opportunities, because our societies weren't developed to embrace our talents and to provide us with platforms to shine. And so we applaud all of you out there in the diaspora who have made it work for you, who have gone there and done well for yourself. And I just want to wish you all God's richest blessings. Thank you again for the interview. And certainly this will not be the last time we engage as a man home in yard, as the Jamaicans say, with those men and women out there like yourself, living outside in the cold. Winter is coming. By all means, jump on a plane and get some warmth in Tobago.
Mr.
That's what I
Chavez, we
plan.
thank you so
That's what I
much.
plan to do.
We thank you so
Thank
much for spending some time
Thank you,
here with
sir.
us. We
All
appreciate
right,
it.
no problem.
All right,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Take care. All right. So guys, listen up, eh? All right. So guys, listen up. You guys have to take it from me, eh? I go in
Yeah,
and
yeah,
get
Yeah,
you
something to eat.
Miss LeBon calling.
Yeah,
though.
I
Huh?
just got a call already. I already got a call.
Yeah, you're in
I already get a
trouble.
call already. So
He's
One of
I
sleeping
run
on the
in.
he's sleeping in the doghouse tonight.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Bye.
Well, yeah, we have it. And we never did get our scheduled guests, but we got our unscheduled guests. Or what, how
Yeah,
you
he
say?
said that 9:30 would have been too late for him.
Yeah, I know.
Because I told him I had Swally on. Yeah,
Right.
boys. So we see.
We got the show in the morning early.
Mhm.
Yeah, well,
Right.
yeah, we have it. We
Mhm.
well, it's
Go ahead.
almost top of the hour. No, it's not. It's
No, not
9:30.
yet. So I'm gonna call up people to get their closing comments together. Judy, Hailey, Rose, Lana, Albert. Put some closing comments in the chat for me, please. Get yourselves together. Yeah, Tommy, you were saying.
I forgot what I was saying. I guess I
Oh
got
boy.
sidetracked.
Yeah, we didn't get one person, but we got another. But you see, he's so engaging and you know and easy to talk to, and you know, give them hard questions, they answer. I don't know why people from the PNM frightened to come in here.
You know, thinking about the DCS or prior DCS posture when we try to engage him. This guy really deserves to be the chief secretary.
Yep. Yep. And I met the last. Oh, I'm drinking orange juice, y'all. Don't say nothing else, huh? I tried to engage Mr. Juke.
Judy, that's not nice, Judy.
What Judy said?
Judy, we need everybody. We need everybody.
What Judy said? Judy, you being bad?
Judy, you got such a sweet name. Be sweet. Be sweet, Judy.
Oh, Judy. We didn't need Wall Street. Oh, y'all doing like what thing are we kicking on some of his own show? Yes,
Judy,
Rose, I have a date, Rose. Do you think you alone does have dates by the lighthouse?
Oh. Judy, be decent. Not decent. Be decent.
I'm thirsty. My throat is dry. Yeah, I have a date. Rose wanted to have a date. Yeah. Any minute my doorbell gonna ring. Yeah. So, you know, the plans he has for Tobago and that autonomy thing should be brought, because you see how I raised the question about Cayman Islands, similar population, similar archipelagos, similar weather, similar in a lot of ways, you know, to Tobago. And why is it they can't have their own self-government internally? You know what I'm saying?
You know, I've advocated for over 20 years, maybe about 25 years, since I first started doing media. Even before I started media, I was the editor of a monthly magazine here in this area, and it was called the Caribbean Link. And the reason why we call it the Caribbean Link is because our agenda was promoting unity among the Caribbean people and living among many different Caribbean people. And it gives you a perspective that the need to truly have a united Caribbean. And what you come to realize is that in a united mode, you're so much stronger and so much more effective. And it gives you it gives you a better sense of security. For example, all the security issues that we are facing in Trinidad, if we had a united Caribbean, it would be a lot easier to manage it. You know that?
Yeah, but in a united Caribbean, you're gonna have to you're gonna have to adopt some kind of currency, and whose currency you're gonna adopt. That's gonna be number one problem, nationalistic problem.
No. A new currency. Look at the euro. The euro was a new currency for Europe. A new currency. it's no rocket science to put a new currency into circulation. If
No,
everybody
I'm not saying it's not a rocket science, huh? But Tommy, you have to
everybody
look at.
if
Go
everybody
ahead.
agree, if everybody or all the players agree, it is quite doable. There's nothing so far fetched about setting up a real unity. We're
So
gonna need one currency, of course, as we know, but that is not rocket science.
let me go internal in Trinidad and Tobago. You can't even get it together down there. How you gonna get it together in the Caribbean? How you gonna get Trinidad to join in the Caribbean and be a real team player?
You see, everybody believes that there's
Because
so many.
remember you had the federation before, right? And that the federation before that dissolved, right?
Yeah,
Tom
because
Adams said 1 from 10 leaves 0, right?
Eric Williams said that.
Or is that Eric Williams? Okay, I thought it was Tom.
But 1 from 10 is not. But that too was a mistake he made. That was a mistake because even if 9 had joined together and leave out Jamaica, because Jamaica was given trouble, and leave out Jamaica, eventually Jamaica would have found their way
Probably found their way.
and put their tails between their legs and come right in. Why? Because bauxite was king at that particular time, and in record time, bauxite became nothing. Or should I say, well?
But you know what the problem is in the Caribbean? The IAN, the Vincent Chan, the Barbadian, the Trinidadian, the Grenadian, that IAN.
Yeah,
You have to get rid of that.
Look, the US is how many states?
You got to get rid of that.
And everybody have their own identity. Jersey, New York.
Look, right now you can't take Trinidad dollars to St. Lucia. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to see it.
All of that would change if we had a common currency.
How do you?
Not only that, but each state can exist just like these states exist with their own governance and still have an overarching system.
And although Watson Duke may have gone about it the wrong way, when he went, was it St. Lucia or Antigua he was in recently, talking about, joining, everybody should join together,
But it's true. It's true. We really need a Caribbean unity if we are to move ahead in the right, in a proper fashion. Because in an insular mode, we don't have any strength. We need that strength. We need that support of each other. We need to break down all the barriers.
And I believe it starts in the schools, in the kindergarten, in the elementary school. You start teaching, they may know the Caribbean islands and they can name them, but do they really know the Caribbean islands? You should study the history, the makeup of each island, drill and have like 1 year some Jamaicans go to Barbados and camp in the school, during summer holiday. Some Trinis go to St. Lucia and you alternate. If class 4 went this year, then do the 5. This class 1 went, and so you alternate. So by the time they enter into the secondary school education, they would have been familiarized with cultures of the different Caribbean islands, the different, idiosyncrasies of it, but they would be introduced to them, and not just on a book page or in a map, an archipelago of islands, it needs more.
At this particular time, it's more expensive to travel into Ireland and to leave the islands and come to the United States.
And why is that? That shouldn't be. Because I heard Liat folded. So you need something to replace Liat. Caribbean Airlines beefing about from Trinidad to Tobago, and then there's a whole market out there. I don't understand. If Liat folded, who's supposed to pick up the slack? Not Caribbean Airlines?
Absolutely.
Caribbean
should be a Caribbean airline, not just
yeah. Now you show them who can service the Caribbean. But I don't know. And I don't know, and they did a very good job at having us think separate.
The only way we're gonna get what we need out of a Caribbean unity is from bottom up, because top down would never seem.
And that is why I said from the elementary school, and you're working, because a lot of things are encrypted in you from your education, right? It may not be done in the home, but if it's necessary in the education and you have to know these things, it becomes more, and they're more engaging. Teach them about Guyana more and Guyana's economy and natural resources. And I remember back in the day, I knew about the Kaicha Falls and the Essequibo River. Do those children know about these things now? They don't.
Let me read some of the chat. I'm going to start with Harry. It says, I could see Mia Motley being the only one who will agree to that. Possibly.
Is it?
Judy says, Jamaica always giving trouble. They want Trinidad to invest, but they're not putting anything. Jamaica only want to collect. I don't know, Judy. Maybe you know something I don't know, but I wouldn't.
Lana says, what do other places depend on us from our small country? Tourism, Lana, we talking about, girl. But you know what I have an issue with too? Now it is predicted, because I do a lot of reading, there's going to be a polar vortex. So it's going to be like unusually harsh winters, right? Good.
Right.
I ain't seen I was seeing Jamaica. One love come, let's get together, and 3 little birds. I ain't seen not one ad telling you come to Tobago. Since the pandemic, the lockdown, because they predicted that after the people were locked down so long, the first thing they're gonna want to do is go, get off and go, right? Travel, and they're showing it now. Why weren't we advertising and pumping Tobago and pushing and during that time? So when the lockdown over and people can move again, where we going, honey? You remember the ad for Tobago? But I don't see nothing. So the tourism, the Ministry of Tourism, what's going on? Nobody reads and looks at the weather predictions and stuff. I mean, come on, people, so all these things I have issues with, the TVs
Yeah, when you're done, I'm going to read Albert's post. He said, Tommy, we had an Eastern Caribbean currency before independence. Jamaica had a Jamaica pound equal to 480 Caribbean currency.
They did a very good job at having us think separatist and individualistic and not unity. That was a very well thought out plan. You understand? Yeah, we got independence, and you notice that stagnated and how what's the word? They unless when people applied, but we got independence. Oh yeah, you want independence? Okay, go ahead, free. You're free. Now do your own thing. And how far it get? We still depending on the people to migrate to for work. Thank you, Miss Coover, for work. Right? We're still depending on the people.
There's this feeling of better than.
Yeah. Wait, not to cross you, Tommy. In other terms, islands that are located closer to the North American continent, and those that are lower, that they call them low island, leeward and windward, right? And within the country, they call us low islanders.
But Judy says Trinidad always given to all other Caribbean nations, but they don't give back. Trinidad was the given breadbasket of the Caribbean nations. I'm not in disagreement that we gave a lot and didn't get back.
Yep.
But I guess it's the same thing here in the United States. There are states that give more than other states. But we're still united. Because you could, if you want to find reasons to be apart or separate, you will find as many as their stars. But if you want to find reasons to be together, the same is obvious. You'll find many reasons because we have more in common than we have that are different.
Patrick Manning closed down the tourist board. Maybe because maybe they were like deadwood. I don't say I do. Maybe they weren't doing anything. Because I find it, you have people, okay, Barbados have Rihanna. Oh, we go there. You have people like, what's the fella name in Black Panther? Are we not capitalizing on him? Huh? We not have him go in front of these people, however you want to put, whatever you want to put on him, beach in the backdrop, and telling him, hey, you can come here too.
He's a Duke, right? Duke was his last name.
Yeah. Right? Or it's Mike and Michael B. Jordan too. Is he something to do with Tobago too? Or am I correct me if I'm wrong, y'all? Right? I mean,
Michael B. Jordan is United States.
No, there's what the other one from Black Panther, another one.
There was one named Duke that was from Tobago, if I remember.
Right. So you have people, prominent people that people know. You can't. I don't know. You can't utilize them like Otto Bolden. You can't use Otto Bolden in a commercial. Encouraging Dwight York. We can't use him in commercials. I mean, Penny Commission. Why? Because she's older than 60. We're not supposed to be using her. The other one, Miss Fitzgerald. Fitzwilliams. Huh? Brian Lara. Hey, you see, as we start to talk, why are we not using these people, to sell with the product we have there in that? My father could give me a job. I could go and
Ali said Big Jordan is Tobagonian.
Huh?
Ali says Big Jordan is Tobagonian.
See, I told you that. And then he the one that wanted to do the liquor thing, with the liquor. I don't know. So many things in my head. You understand? So many things. Hainsley Crawford. Somebody can't utilize him in a commercial, endurance, and he's still there and looking good, and some product that we make in Trinidad and Tobago, and you sell an idea. Nobody's thinking creatively to boost tourism. Marshall Montana, he did his own thing to India, but my problem with him, why he only went alone? Why didn't you have an entourage of people with you? That is my issue with that.
Well, he was doing some self-searching and self-healing.
Self-healing. I still think he should have had more than himself in front of those people. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah.
Right? Remember, he was doing a session with Sadhguru,
I care who he was doing sessions with. There is other talent in Trinidad and Tobago also, right? I still think other people could have gone. Good. So, that is it. Until we got to get that we mentality and not I all the time, So that's it. I don't know. You have anything else to say, Tommy?
I'm going to read two more from the chat. Citizens from TNT, that's Judy. TNT that makes it big don't appreciate to be called a Trinidadian.
Really? I am a Trinbagonian.
I'm not so sure that is true. Many of us are very proud, and many are uncomfortable also. But Albert says, my wife and myself have family in a lot of the Caribbean islands, even Montserrat, St. Vincent, Grenada, Antigua, Jamaica, Guyana, and Venezuela. See, you know what that tells me? That we are all one family, which is what I've been saying all along.
Nicki Minaj, she is another one. She came for Carnival. I mean, it could be residual, long-term exposure, and then they start to equate you know, the islands with these people. Like, oh, we gotta go there. Nicki Minaj could be used, you know, as a, you know, and sell an exotic, you know, and oh, to go to Tobago and you can experience it. But nobody's thinking. Maybe they think it's too much money to pay these people. You know, you give them, say, look, we have a cap of XYZ, and this is what we can pay, and they too should be willing to, you know, is my birth country or my parents or whatever. I have connections. Let me do something, you know, you and all can experience, you know, maybe a big concert. I don't know. I see so much things wasting away. Such good weather. I tell you, the day I went to Pigeon Point, it was such a beautiful day. I was like, what? You know, there were a lot of people, but there were more locals, you know, and Trinbagonians, Trinidadians. I'm like, well, where are the others, you know? But it is what it is.
Trinidadians are really the majority of tourists that go to
Tobago. Yeah, but it needs to go beyond. The Ministry of Tourism needs to do more. You need to do more instead of people saying like cushy jobs. The person needs to be a salesperson. Person needs to be a, you know, a hustler instead of, I'm a work and a comfortable and a cozy. You gotta push the boundaries. But hey, those, what can I say? All right.
Nabudu says government need to open factories for single parents to work.
For everybody. Everybody. Tourism brings a lot of backlash behind it. When you have tourism, prices skyrocket to high heaven. Oh dear.
Oh boy, Trinidad see potholes. Oh my goodness.
But you need the forex. You need the forex, Judy. You know. So who else? Any other comments besides the closing comment? Trinidad always give you read that one already, right? What the places depend on. Ooh. What closing comment? As long as I resign. What closing comment? As AG. Oh dear, let me highlight it so I can read it later. Oh no. Oh no. Highly, why am I gonna get Rennie Vex for now? Because I say I have a date, and he bringing a bigger whip than Rennie, girl. Anyway, Judy says thank you, Tommy and Diana. You guys did an excellent job. We don't need Wall Street. Poor fella. Poor fella.
Be decent. That's the owner of the radio station you're talking about.
Yep. Lana, the PNM government always spend 5 times the price of anything and claim they save the taxpayers' money. Albert, you need to write a book in here. Albert have the 6 on everybody, boy.
Listen, Albert is an experienced man. An experience, don't lie.
Okay. All right, we're approaching the top of the hour. We all know. I gotta do my superlatives and I'll come right back.
Yes, you're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
All right, we're back with you. We're going to do the closing comments. Tommy, you want to take any of them? I kind of feel star by them.
Lana says it's awesome having Mr. Chavez in the village tonight. She also says, fantabulous show tonight, Diana and Tommy. You both did well. Thank you, Lana. Let's see who else.
Rose says, tonight, as usual, Anselm asked most of the questions in interviewing Mr. Chavez. Diana made her input, and Tommy asked a very important question. We were all at our best behavior. That's right.
Thank you for
Good,
your
my
best.
good, my little villages. Who else has a closing comment? Lana says she resigns as Attorney General. So AG, Attorney General, Shadow Attorney General is up for grabs in the village, okay?
Rose says, everyone, good night, love you all.
Who else? Any other closing comments? I don't know if this is Hailey's closing comment. Black people are very arrogant and can't see past. That is so very far for them to destroy themselves. Okay. I don't know if that's a closing comment. Anybody that did I miss anyone else? Do you see anything else?
So far, I know Ulrich says good show. Good.
Awesome having Mr. Chavez. Fantabulous show tonight, Diana and Tommy. You both did well. Thank you. Okay, is that it? Well, I'm going to go out with one of my favorite tracks from the man who recently left us. And I like this track.
Give your closing comments first, Diana.
Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to line it up first.
Okay, let me give
mine. You go ahead.
This one's by Maya Angelou. If you're always trying to be normal, you never know how amazing you can be. And that's to each and every one of you in the village. Be yourself. You don't have to be normal. If you're whoever you want to be, you'll be fantastic and fabulous and fantabulous according to Anselm. Again, it's been a pleasure being here in the village tonight. Looking forward to our next session. Please be careful out there. Be safe. Love you all. Good night.
Okay, and I will give my closing comment. I was just lining up the music because if you don't have it when it's ready, you kind of stall, you know? So I was lining it up. All right.
Good night, family. Sweet dreams. Be safe out there. One.
All right. The ignorance of one voter in a democracy impairs the security of all. The ignorance of one voter in a democracy impairs the security of all. People should not be afraid of the government. The government should be afraid of the people. And Barack Obama said, you would not let your grandparents and uncles, and I go add in nenes, pick your playlists. Why would you let them pick your representative who is going to determine your future? And I want to end by saying, for change often seems impossible until it is inevitable. Just as we must own our own lives, we must own our own country. For you, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago and residents, and those of us in the diaspora, are ultimately in control of Trinidad and Tobago's story. What do you want that story to be? This is Diana Benskin, your global ambassador and your poet and radio co-host and a whole bunch of other things, bidding you auf Wiedersehen. And I'm going to go out with my favorite track from the man that just left us.
Before you go, let me read Ulrich's statement. He says, if today was bad for you, just work on a better day tomorrow. Blessed good night, everybody. Thank you, Ulrich.
Okay. So I will go out with my favorite track from the man that just left us, Explainer. It's called Celebration Time. Good night, people. Stay safe.
Good night, Diana.
The storm hates to leave you, but I have to go. See you next time in the village, WZYE 95.9 FM. Good night.